Yes, guys, and welcome back to the Irish Hotspur with your boy Big Dave. Jack will be joining us. He's just out of bed, grabbing himself a nice coffee. And of course, as you can see, we're joined by Altal, Cockerell, Jose, and Dermot Trump from THFC Till I Die to bring you the build-up for this game as Tottenham welcome Wolves down to N17 to the Coliseum of football until we go foxtrotting and take them Wolves out today, which I cannot wait for. Big game today in order to keep our top four hopes on track. Jose, how are you keeping, sir?
Yeah, I'm all good. Like every week, Jack. I'm super excited when we've got a match. So match day for me starts nice and early. Obviously here on the show today. Again, thank you very much. And yeah, I'm completely buzzing and looking forward to what the next chapter gives us today.
Yeah, it'd be very, very interesting to see. You know, this is really coming into the business end of the season, so it'd be very interesting to see how we acclimatise to that. But Jose, you're looking well in that stadium, in the picture in front of the stadium. You look like, you know, you're the chairman of the football club. Dermot, how are you keeping, sir?
I am keeping fine, Dave. Great to be back. I've missed a few shows. I've really missed coming on here on the match day build-up. And yeah, I'm all ready for it. I'm buzzing, unlike I was last Saturday. Absolutely buzzing. I haven't come down from going to the game last week. I'm still in cloud 52. And I'm refusing to come down. And Tottenham better not ruin my weekend.
Well, I hope not. Hopefully they don't ruin any of our weekend, Dermot. Hopefully we can get the
Dave, this was a game a year ago. We did go and see Wolves this time last year in the pouring rain.
And that wasn't last year. That was 2 years ago. No, when
2 years ago. 2 years ago in the pouring rain. And we left there disappointed. So they need to make it up to us today.
Yeah, I remember I just got onto Tottenham High Road and then someone told me Winks was starting with Bentacore in the middle. I was about to get back on my taxi and head off back to the airport. I knew exactly what was coming that day. But look, big game today, so let's welcome some people in and see who they've got with us. Is there a bit of an echo there, lads? No, it's gone now. It's gone. All right, grand job. We have Joff Totten, a YouTube member. Big up, Joff. I think he's just renewing it. He's always been a disciple of the Irish Hotspur. Big up, Joff. Good to see you in the building. We also have Mr. Strocker says, good morning, Dave. And all. Big up, Adrian. Great to see you, sir. We also have Celery Adrian, hashtag Harris Army. Come on, you Spurs. Big up, Celery. Hopefully you're keeping well. Good to see you back around the community, sir. We also have special occasions. Morning, guys, from a freezing Cyprus. Usually it's absolutely roasting out there. What's going on, my man? What's going on? We also have typical Kev. Where's Daddy Irish? Daddy Irish is sitting here right now, my man. Here right now. On your bike, Scott says, morning. Oh, come on, you Spurs. Big up, Scotty. Great to see you, sir. Adrian, no, I haven't actually had breakfast this morning, believe it or not. I think the missus is coming back with some sort of overnight oats yolk. So when she comes back with that, I'll devour that, my man. We also have Wembley. One morning, everyone. No Destiny and Porro is a significant blow for us today. Makes the game a whole lot tougher for us. 100% Wembley. It's, I was only saying to Jack yesterday in the stuff for the members that, how much will it affect us playing out from the back? Because usually them two are absolutely brilliant. If we can't play it out from the back, Adoshi's usually very good at carrying the ball, and Porro's got a wand of a right foot, so might take a hit in that department today, and probably an area Wolves might look to exploit. We also have Tony Rodriguez. Big up, guys. Smash that like and subscribe. Big up, Tony. Good to see you in the building, sir. Hopefully you're keeping well. We also have Martin Turpin. Says, wakey, Dave, it's game day. Don't worry, I was awake at 9 o'clock this morning. Do not worry about that, sir. Derek Hutchinson says, Irish Hotspurs, #1 Spurs channel. Big up, lads. Big up, Del Boy. Really appreciate that. We also have Phil B. Woo! Big up, my man. Good to see you. Alberto says, big game today, boys. It's a must win. Couldn't agree more with that. We also have Jerry. Let's go, boys. Come on, you Spurs. Big up, Jerry. Good to see you. My man, Paul. Morning, Dave. Morning, Jack, and the panel. Game day. Come on, you Spurs. We are going to be taming some Wolves today. Big up, Paul O'Connor. Good to see you in the building. We definitely need to be taming the Wolves for sure. And he said he meant Dave and Jack. Yeah, no, I get it, my man. Paro Miguel Escobardo says, big up, David. David. Why and the panel. Big up everyone in the chat. Big up Paro Escobardo. Good to see you in the building, sir. How are you keeping? We also have Gamer16, Vic, Dragusin, Romero, Van de Ven, Emerson, Basuma, Sar, Madison, Son, Richie, Werner as he's starting lineup today. Don't worry, we've plenty of questions in and around discussions about that starting lineup today. Leslie Crawford says, come on, you Spurs, Tottenham till I die. Along with Quincy B says, come on, you Spurs, good to see you. We have Dex says, big up boys supporting the channel from Zimbabwe. Absolutely crazy where people are tuning in from. Big up Dex. Dan Davenport, hey David Harris. The Army guest and chat. It's my birthday yesterday. Big up everyone. 3-1-2 us Spurs today. But Dan, hopefully you had a great day yesterday, my man. Hopefully you got something a little bit Spurs, for yourself for your birthday, and hopefully you had a great day. Let us know how old you were in the chat, my man. We'll take a few more comments, then we're going to crack on. Paul G, morning, Dave and gang. Hope you're all well. Game day. Come on, you Spurs. Big up, Paul G. We're always keeping well. Good evening, everyone. Good evening to you. Hopefully you're keeping well. We also have Mr. 420 as neutral. I didn't bet on this game. I don't know what will happen. We'll wait and see, Mr. 420. Not a bad time of the day. Gary says trying to get to the game today without any trains. I heard it's been a bit of a logistical nightmare for everybody the last little while. Gary, big yourself up. We also have Sweeney Todd. Morning, guys. Hope all is good. Along with Simon Davies. Hey, Davo. And the boys. Come on, you Spurs. Good to see you. And then we also have Spurs GCTV. Hi, guys. This would be a tricky game, but I expect the boys to come through. 2-0 winners. Come on, you Spurs. Big up Spurs GCTV. Good to see you, my man. And then we also have Dark Sun G in. He says, I love how Andrew's more protective of Son than the
Korean FA.
Hey, interesting. Why do you say that, Dark Sun G? Let me know. Jose, you're nodding your head. You seem to agree with him.
No, I was nodding. I was nodding. I was looking at the lineups, and I was nodding at something different. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, I do agree with Dark Son G. Jurgen Klinsmann was actually sacked because of it, because of the way he didn't protect Son over there, and I think the way he treats Son was dreadful. So I agree with Dark Son G, and Klinsmann got the sack for it, and rightly so.
Did you guys see the statement that the South Korean FA put out about Klinsmann?
Yeah,
it was. I've never ever seen a statement from an international football association when they're dismissing a manager. They were absolutely scathing about Klinsmann. I've never seen nothing like it. Normally, someone says, "Yeah, we parted ways. Thanks. Good luck in the future." Blah. They weren't. They said that he mismanaged the team, and they went into a whole chapter and piece about how bad Klinsmann was. Never ever seen it ever when a manager dismissed.
Do you know what? I remember Philip Lahm all them years ago when he was manager of Bayern Munich for a brief stint. Had a lot to say about the like of his training methods and handling of the squad and stuff like that. Very interesting, Dark Sun G. Very, very interesting. Like Jose said, I've never seen such a fallout between an international FA and a manager. What's going on? I know Son had that fight with Kang In Lee. I think players wanted to leave early to go and play table tennis, and Sonny wanted them to all sort of stay around together and go together, which captains do. Kang In Lee, Dark Sun G, does he have a big ego within the squad? Let me know, my man. He also says, come on, you Spurs. I hope we win with a Son goal and a Hwang. He wants to score to be 2-1. First of all, what an impact off the bench by El Capitan last week, Dark Sun G. Exactly the way I was describing the way we've missed Son. Gets on the ball direct and has that killer pass, that final product, and he absolutely delivered when it mattered most. He is so crucial to us going forward. Absolutely brilliant impact last week. Hwang, I'm actually a little bit worried about him today. Him and Pedro Neto, their pace, for balls in behind for the counter-attack is going to be a problem. And Hwang always finds himself in good positions. He's a typical sort of poacher, especially within the box. I call him a fox within the box. He sort of picks up these positions and then he's got to finish the match. He's a good player. However, Dark Sun G, I know you want him to score because he's from Korea, but I'll be brutally honest. I want Big Vic to keep the clean sheet, so I want to keep Hwang silent tonight. Interestingly, though, Dark Sun G, Son hasn't scored in these last 10 games against Wolves, so it's a bit of a bogey team for him in that regard. But let me know if you have faith on him finding the back of the net today. If not, he'll definitely assist a couple for sure.
Right, just to confirm, right? So the KFA president, Chung Mong-yu, said in his statement, Klinsmann has failed to display managerial capability and leadership expected of a national head coach in areas ranging from tactics, personal management to work attitude, and others required to bring about competitiveness to the team. That is scathing. That is, I've never heard any statement like that at all. That is scathing.
Not good. Not good. I'd argue, the Irish FA isn't much better, to be honest with you.
I was just thinking
we're still
that,
searching
Dave.
for a manager.
I was just thinking that. I didn't want to say much, but I was just thinking that.
No, we're not much better. Dark Sung G also says today's ref is one of my top 3 worst referees list. For your information, come on, you Spurs. Well, look, I'm going to bring up the details for everybody. I was actually looking at it 2 days ago with Dark Sung G, and I was like, you know what? He doesn't come across my mind for any sort of, bad decisions the way, that guy Michael Oliver and other referees would. Let me know why you think he's one of the top 3 worst refs. I mean, I'm intrigued to know. Just quickly, I'll give the details. So, of course, the game is being played at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, the greatest stadium in world football, the Coliseum of football in London. Kickoff is at 3 p.m. Referees Anthony Taylor. So Dark Sung G is saying he's one of the top 3 worst on the list. He's got a list. I absolutely love it. You may forward that list to me, Dark Sung G. And then in the VAR room, we've got Craig Pawson. Now, I know that's a name I don't like. And then if you want to watch the game on TV in the UK and Ireland, it is not available. Shock, considering everyone pays for Sky and BT and Premier Sports. You still can't get it. Absolutely ridiculous. In the USA, it is on Peacock TV. In Australia, it's on Optus Sports. And in Canada, it is on Fubo TV. And then the injury news, Fraser Forrester out with a fracture to his foot. Not good. It looks like Big Vic would be the only sort of goalkeeper between now and the end of the season. No backup. Ses Young, I'm just moving on. Solomon out with his knee. Porro out with a strain, and Adoji also picked up a knock to his knee. And for Wolves, their only injury out today is Mateusz Cunha out with a hamstring. So that is all of the injury news and all the match details you need to know. Jack, just quickly, welcome in, my man. Good to see you this morning. Hopefully you've got a nice strong coffee. For those who don't know, Jack's up at like 6:30, 7 a.m. for these, so a good strong black coffee is what's needed. But Jack, does Anthony Taylor spring to mind for any bad decisions this year?
Nearly made it on time this morning, but found a way to be fashionably late. Anthony Taylor, Dave. I mean, he was behind that famous Roma decision that was pretty bad in the Europa League, where Jose Mourinho and pretty much the entire city of Rome chased him to the airport. And on multiple occasions, I think I've just seen him just make the game pretty much about him. He kind of epitomizes that sort of, typical bad, I would say, characteristic of a lot of the referees these days, where you kind of see them when the game starts to get exciting, when it starts to become end to end, they sort of start to make it about themselves, right? Where they start to, blow the whistle in certain moments where you kind of least expect it, make a big fuss, start, throwing cards at times when they least make sense, letting challenges go that are just blatantly just fouls and nasty challenges, and then to let the game play, but then another kind of, let's say more, debatable ones, they make like I said, a big fuss of it. They kind of just find a way to make it about themselves. So I think Anthony Taylor falls in that kind of a category for me. He also, though, was the one that gave us the very good call with the Romero hair pull with Cucurella. So you could say that ever since then, he's probably had it out for us to never give us a good call ever again, I would imagine.
Well, look, hopefully Romero gets away with something similar today, and we make him put him in the man of the match poll. That would be absolutely ideal. Big up Dark Sung G, my man. Really appreciate support. We're going to go through a few more comments, and then we're going to crack on. I've got some decent talking points for today. We have XC, good morning from California. Big up, my man. Good to see you in the building. We also have Tin Man 007. Big up, guys. Must win game today. Tougher than people think, but reckon we can do them 3-2. Come on, you Spurs. Tin Man, let me know if you're going to the game, brother. It is at home, so usually I know you like to trek your way down there, so let me know, sir. We also have the Outlaw Spurs to win 7-1, and Dan has told us he was 45 on Tuesday. He said his favourite radio presenter passed away. I'm sorry to hear that, Dan, my man. Not good, but hopefully you did have a good birthday, sir. We have Dark Sung G. Lucky, this is the last game it fell for us. No left back, no right back. look, with Porro, it was something was going to happen. He's played every single minute of every single game this season for Tottenham in the Premier League. I think he played both games in the FA Cup, and I can't remember correctly if he played that game in the Carabao Cup against Fulham, but he's played more minutes than any outfield player for Tottenham this season. You know, you could say maybe an injury was due to happen to Pedro Porro, but it's a strain. And Ange did say with no game next week, it's 2 weeks now until another game after this, he should be back, which is absolutely huge. Destiny Udogie came off against Brighton because he jarred his knee, and that looks like it's still not 100% correct. There, Dark Zone G. But you know what? But the ultimate squad player's turn is today, hopefully, and that will be Emerson. You know, I know a lot of people have their sort of various opinions on him, but defensively, he's absolutely solid. So I have no problem with that. I just don't want to see Ben Davies in the starting lineup. I just want to phase him out completely. I don't care if that means Dragusin has to come into the middle and Van de Ven goes out to left back, or Emerson goes out to left back, Dragusin plays right back. I do not care, Dark Zone G. I just do not want to see Ben Davies in there, my man. We'll take a couple more comments. We also have, let me see, Dark Zone G says, Andrew's press conference about the incident is why. Okay, I understand now. He's Jack, just to fill you in, he's talking about, you know, how Tottenham protects Sonny more than what the Korean FA did. He's not happy at all here. Big up, Dark Zone G. Big up, my man. Don't worry about that. Ange will always protect his players.
Yeah, I think Ange seems to, in most cases, has never even put any sort of pressure or kind of cast any sort of kind of criticism towards them, even for the most part, you know, in press conferences when maybe he's even had the chance or opportunity to. He's always taken the high road, and I think will continue to do so. He also just seems to kind of not really be a guy that likes to feed crumbs in any sort of sense to journalists. He kind of just likes to play more games or just kind of have a crack at them, you know, every now and again, instead of really just give them any morsels to feed on of any kind. He doesn't seem to be in that sort of business. Big up, Dark Senji. I would say, though, the Korean FA just plays Sonny till he pretty much drops, and I think Ange knows how to, you know, ease him back into things. That's for sure as well.
Well, Jurgen Klinsmann was calling them up when he was injured and everything else. It's really, really annoying. But big up, Dark Son G. Don't worry. Ange will protect them. Welcome in, Drew, as well. Good to see you. We also have Mr. Porro. Great to see you. When there is that, Pedro, he's off today, so maybe he's tuning in. We've got Foggy Foam. Good to see you. Hopefully you're keeping well, sir. We also have Adrian Chia here. Says, big up, lads. Game day is upon us. Come on, you Spurs. That it is. And Bissouma very well might enter the fray today. From the very off, came off the bench last week, 100% passing accuracy, didn't give the ball away at once, and that's what we want from the big Biss. So we might see him come in replace of Bentancur.
Get that third kid out, Adrian Chia. Get it. I mean, Dave, get the iron board out, I would say, for Adrian Chia. You know, give it a nice, you know, press and get it nice and fit, you know, for today, because I'd say Bissouma should be playing today. Also, the hair looks terrific of recent. Adrian Chia looks terrific.
Yeah. I do like Bissouma's hairstyles, to be fair. I don't mind them whatsoever. Big up, Darius. Good to see you, sir. Hopefully you're keeping well. He said, big up the panel must-win game 4-1. Big up the Owlad. Morning, lads. It's great to see 4 Spurs connoisseurs on the box. Better than Sky or ESPN all day long. Well, look, what I would say is I think half the panel have better hair Barnett's than Gary Neville, so that's a huge plus. You don't have to watch that eyesore for a couple of hours. But good to see you in the building. Hopefully you're keeping well. Let's go and get the win, my man. Big up, Ed, as well. Great to see you, sir. And we'll take this from Dark Sun G, and then we'll kick in to some of my questions. He says, this ref was the ref for the World Cup match where Bentancur got a red card. Bento got a red card for Korea because he ended the game 10 seconds early without giving us a corner kick. Okay, so you know it's from the World Cup, but also all the other reasons that Jack alluded to as well. Dark Zone G might have to call in them Roma Ultras, you know, if things go wrong today, might have to call them in to chase them again down the Tottenham High Road. But look, hopefully he doesn't sit at home and stress you out too much, Dark Zone G. I know the referee stressed me out, and I've actively tried to go into games not making a spectacle of the referee and stuff like that. But it seems like 5 minutes in, I'm already going nuts at them because they're being unfair to Destiny Udogie, and they're just giving shit decisions, Dark Zone G. But big
he usually
yourself
has
up.
that nasty attitude as well, sort of Anthony Taylor, where he kind of rolls his eyes a lot and kind of just has this kind of like unpleasantness kind of about him, where it's not really like other referees that you might like who sort of, have a bit of a crack with the players, or, have a, bit of a, funny retort or like something like that, back to them, kind of hold their own. Whereas Anthony Taylor just has this sort of, like smuggishness, I think, about him that I don't really care for.
He's not happy with the referee today at all. He's saying the ref got demoted to be a championship after the shambolic penalty call versus Wang against Newcastle. Also, he made another shambolic call in the championship. He's really not happy today.
He was. I called them dumber and dumber today. Them two together is like putting dumber and dumber together. They're useless. I mean, Ange better go in there with a big bottle of wine and a few chocolates and a few. Just say, if you make a call against us, the arsenic will be out for you guys.
Do you know what,
Just
Dharma?
watch
That's
out.
one of my biggest problems with Tottenham. I feel like we're letting referees away with it. I know we got that call, a couple of calls against Liverpool that we shouldn't have got. But it feels like ever since then, we're letting them off the hook, and the referees are trying their best to reclaim points back off us, and it's even the 50-50 decisions. I'm seeing players lay on our players, not giving our player goes, okay, that's the standard set by the referee today. Boom, give it back straight away, yellow card. One more down, you're down in an early shower. I mean, it's absolutely really, really annoying. Really annoying. Dumb and Dumber in the office today. Dumb and Dumber 3, Dumb and Dumber 4, whatever you want to call it, Dark Sun G. You're already getting me riled up before the referees. I'm trying to stay calm, Dark Sun G. I'm trying to stay calm heading into the game.
Yeah.
But big up, brother. Really do appreciate the support. Me and you will definitely be on Ref Watch today. Look, I've already got my set of cards, yellow and red. I've got my pencil at the ready. And I also have the booklet to take his name down on every wrong decision he gets. So big up Dark Zone G. We will re-ref that game today. And also big up Shentan as well. Great to see you, sir. Really appreciate the support, everyone. Already keep smashing that like. There's nearly 300 in-house already, and we're only getting going. So let's go. Let's get into it. And we will start with you on this one. We'll bring you in first, Starmo, and work our way backwards. How are you feeling coming into today's game off the back of Brennan Johnson's 96-minute winner against Brighton? Does it paper over the cracks of the performance, or does it build momentum going forward? By the way, you must have been happy with your favourite player at Tottenham scoring the winner.
I tell you one thing. I watched very quickly on it. Richarlison, for me, what a player. He never stops. He does not stop. He starts from 1 minute to the and the amount of work he puts in as well. It's unreal. Look, I'm going to stick to my guns, Dave. I see the game differently from you last week. I saw a lot more positive to come out of that game than negatives, to be fair. Look, I don't think it paper up the crap. I think if we can keep up the same momentum we had in patches in that game, and keep up the same intensity we had in patches in that game, I think we should beat Wolves today. Only thing that worries me is the fullbacks. Please do not play Davis. I had him in my predicted lineup, but I think that's where the weak points are in the whole team. But no, I think Angie's getting them purring, and I think they're just coming right at the right time of the season, the business end. And I think we're going to be very difficult to beat coming up with these games coming up. But today, we have to get 3 points today to back up last week. And then that would be 3 wins in a row. And then that breeds more confidence in the team. But yeah, I think we need to build on last week's win, the momentum. And the last minute winner, brilliant. Johnson was woeful for the whole game when he came on. So one goal for me is not going to paper over his bad performance. But the rest of the team, I thought we played well in patches. And I thought if we can keep that intensity going, then I think we should beat Wolves today.
Do you know what? I'm on the opposite scale to you on that. I thought we were absolutely awful last week and we got away with one, to be brutally honest. I think the last minute winner papers over a load of cracks. However, a win's a win, and I ain't going to complain.
Now, I also say defensively, we were very good last week in patches as well. Romero, I was sitting right behind the goal, so I could see the defense working as a unit, and they do work as a unit. They all talk to each other. Vicario never shuts up. Vicario never shuts up, and it's like he's shouting at Romero. He's shouting. It's so refreshing. It's like we never got that Hugo Vicario. Future captain, if we do pick him as captain. He was fantastic.
Going back to goalkeeper as captain again.
Like I was saying before, you rudely interrupted me there, Dermo. I see it completely different to you last week, my man. I think we got away with one. I think we were lucky to get the win. But however, 3 points is 3 points on the board. I just feel, with all of our players back, that we were. I think, and I speak for myself actually. I think I was expecting a lot better performance, more cohesive, more looking like where we were at the first 10 games of the season. And being brutally honest, we didn't. We looked like where we have been over the last 13 games, which has been up and down. Hopefully today, with players having a bit more sort of minutes in their legs after returning from injury, hopefully we do see a bit more of a cohesive performance defensively and going forward, especially in possession. In possession, we have been really, really sloppy of late, and I do think it's an area that we really need to improve on. Also, I'd argue that press is nowhere near as fluid as it needs to be. You've got some players going, some players hauling off, and that's why Brighton were ultimately able to pass their way through us in both games. But look, that's where I'm at with it. Jose, where are you at with it off the back of last week? How are you coming into this game, sir?
We got a W. 3 points is 3 points. I said straight after the game last week, we've got the 3 points. We move on, train again for the week, and let's face up to Wolves. It's difficult. Doing these predicting Tottenham is difficult. And I keep saying this because you don't know what you're going to get. Now, at the end of the day, last week, I thought it was a toss of a coin, and the only decision to be made is, do you start Bentancur or Bissouma? Never in the wildest dreams did I think Son wasn't going to start. I thought he was. So therefore, if I go back to the first 10 games of the season when we were unbeaten, the 8-2 run, the team that we had, the 11 players that we had, we could have played that 11 last week in my eyes. And when playing 10 games together, you learn each other's patterns of play. You learn in defence where you need to be, in attack where you need to be, and you know each other. So I thought if them 11 had started last week, we may have looked a bit more fluid. Today, obviously, we haven't got Destiny and we haven't got Pedro playing, but regardless of that, we've got all I want today is, I want the 3 points ultimately, but I want a performance. I want a performance where we perform and we perform better than what we have done in the first half, and then put in another performance that's better than what we have done in the second half. I'm happy if we were 50-50 in possession, just as long as we bossed the game 70-30 over the 90-minute period. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I want to see. So I want the 3 points above all, but I would like to see a performance in two halves from the boys today. It'll be interesting because Ange just got decisions to make. Will we see Dragusin come in today? Are we going to revert back to using Davis and Emerson? So to me, when you're playing as a team, I think for the first 10 games, you had your settled back four, and you had a settled midfield three and a settled front three, and that gives off trust and positivity throughout the team to me. When you keep chopping and changing the team, some players will be, I don't know about him playing in that position, and and it changes patterns of play. So I'm hoping that today we go as strong as possible, and I would go back to the front six that we had in the first 10 games. So that would be starting Bissouma over.
Don't worry about the starting lineup, Jose. We'll get into that. I have plenty of questions on that, my man.
He's got the good questions for that later. Definitely.
Don't worry about that, lad. Don't save it until we come to it.
Okay, 3 points. 3 points. 3 points then is what I'm after today, and a better performance in both halves.
One thing I definitely agree with you is I do think performances matter. Last season under Conte, we were winning some games and then you were losing some games. And that's what we've been doing the last 13 games. But in order to come out of that, we have to start bringing the performances. I definitely agree with you on that for sure, my man. Just quickly, Jay Mead, look, I don't need anyone to tell me to get behind the project. I was out here, bigging up pants for the job before anybody else in the fan base, bar Paul, IrishHotspur. I'm 100% behind it, but my job is to talk about the things where we need to improve on. It's that simple. I'm not having a go, Joe, but I don't need anyone to tell me to get behind the project. I've been behind it before most Spurs fans were behind. And Postecoglou. Jack, my man, where are you at coming in off the back of last week's game, sir?
Yeah, if it was it a papering over the cracks sort of performance with Brennan Johnson's late winner, I guess, and it's a really good question. To a degree, yes and no, but I feel like Brighton also are a very good team, so we have to give ourselves credit for being able to battle, like, back against them. I mean, they gave us a very good game last time, away from home. They pretty much destroyed us and embarrassed us for the most part. And sort of look at that game, there were periods where they were doing something similar, and it's because De Zerbi's a very good manager. He also has some very good players in that team who've been playing, for a while, maybe a bit longer in their sort of system than we even have in Postecoglou's, right? They've had a head start in that regard, and I think they have, just a smart manager with, very progressive tactics, and they can exploit us at times, and they were hurting us, but we battled back and were able to grab 3 points, and you just sort of hope that yes and no, it's a paper of the cracks performance. But if you match it up with another win here that's perhaps a bit more convincing, then I think, we kind of look back on it, and not really much of a sort of distaste or not as much of a concern or kind of warning flag sort of thing. It does teeter both ways depending on kind of 3 points today. And also, I would say having Matoma back for Brighton seemed to really hurt us, because I don't really remember him actually, being back in the Premier League for some time. And then all of a sudden it felt like, he was in that team again, and he was really hurting us down that right-hand side. Maybe part of the reason why Pedro Porro was tired today and, needs a break, because he could have picked up an injury, because he really had a tough day against Matoma, and Udogie maybe similar too, who's put in a lot of yards, throughout this season.
Porro's had a few tough days of recent weeks, maybe the sort of injury, maybe the 2-week break might do him the world of good, and he'll come back being that player, especially going forward. I feel like, especially going forward, he's been absent of late, the last couple of games and stuff like that. Maybe the break out of the side might do him the world of good and come back refreshed and re-energized. Dark Sun G says, did you see the open training session? We look ready. Do you know what? I'm a loser. I sat there and watched the whole hour of it. Not going to lie to you. Being brutally honest, I mean, they don't show you much, a couple of shooting drills, how they warm up, how they warm down and stuff like that. I will say, Dan Scarlett was on bloody fire in them shooting drills. He was absolutely on fire. Gill had a couple of nice finishes in that as well. Look, it was good to see what sort of, how to warm up, how to, little bits and pieces and stuff like that. But didn't work on too much, especially tactically and stuff, which they're never going to do, right? They're never going to give Wolves their tactics, Thursday heading into the game. But it was good. It was interesting. I was quite surprised. Was there like nearly 10,000 people there, I think they said, which was absolutely incredible. But look, they're nice little things to do, especially if you're a kid, right? And you want to make the professional sort of leagues. It's good to see how they prepare, how they warm down, the different motions they go through when striking the ball, how they set themselves up before they go and strike the ball. It's good to pick up little sort of details like that, Dark Sung G, and it's great for young kids out there to be able to learn off. And it was a nice idea. I'm not going to lie, it gave me something to do. Then we also have, no, I don't even know how to pronounce that. I think someone's just been raging out on the keyboard, probably when Conte was in charge. Says thoughts on Kulu at left back. Do you know what? I think he does great work tracking back on the right-hand side. Don't get me wrong. But tracking back when you've got a player there already sort of, slowing down the opposition attacker, it's completely different than playing left back facing the other way. And, having to keep the line, listen to the calls. It is completely different. I don't think Kulu will be able to play there personally. I get the idea because he's left-footed. He can carry the ball similar to Destiny Udogie. There are similarities there. Defensively, I don't think he would have it. I'm not... me personally, just from experience, I know it's completely different when you have to listen to people, keep a line. Sometimes you want to go forward. People are telling you to tuck back inside and stuff like that. I wouldn't chance it today personally. We'll go to you on this one, Jose. Jose, is that something you would try?
I've seen Kulu play only when we've dropped down to 10 men, and I've seen him play the auxiliary right back for Tottenham. I've never seen him play on the left. I've been screaming out for Kulu to play on the left, but I never ever screamed out for him to be playing at left back. However, what I will say, do we really have a left and a right back? Because I don't believe we do. In the traditional sense, Doggy's not a left back and Porro's not a right back. So at the end of the day, I mean, it's different because it's difficult because we're not on the training pitch, and Ange would be drilling these players for the last 7 months. And the people that possibly know the patterns of play better than the others are probably Davis and Royale. However, when I saw Davis make his only appearance at left back against Crystal Palace, and he only played the first half, so they said he came off with an injury. I thought that the Crystal Palace player handed him his backside over and over and over again in the first 45 minutes.
Yeah.
I don't know how. I know that. Let's go back to them. We didn't have Romero and we didn't have Van der Ven because they were out injured in these games. But you could have Van der Ven there, and he can be your blanket, and he can do the covering for the whole of the back four like he normally does. But I'd like to think possibly that we might have, or the Ange might have a different option for left back rather than bringing in Davis in that position. But for Kulu, yeah, I've always wanted Kulu to play on his left hand side, so, but I've never had him down as a left back.
No, look, I understand the thinking behind it. You know, he's big, he's not afraid to track back and stuff like that. It's just keeping the line, you know, players running in behind him. You know, there's a lot more going on there that he doesn't have to contend with playing further up the field that I think probably would confuse him a little, and I think it would come back to cost you. But look, I'm only a fat guy from Ireland, right? You know, Ange might play him there. You have no idea. You have no idea. Jacko, do you want to have your say on this, my man?
No, I mean, for the most part, sorry, whatever that username is, I appreciate the support, but I can't see it. Maybe in an alternative universe, you could see Kulu maybe as like a, you know, Ait Nouri, who we're coming up against, you know, for Wolves. You know, he's a very tricky player, good ball carrier, but like
he
sort
plays
of Dave said,
though, doesn't he? His defensive responsibilities are sort of shirked in that regard.
Yeah, but like you said, though, like he still has to learn the trade to a degree of like what it takes to learn the one-on-one positions of defending in those wide areas. And I think that takes a long time at this sort of level because, I mean, you're coming up against the best wingers in the world. And Kulu probably just does better at just barging into players, you know, when he's pressing, you know, high up the pitch, not as much when we're closer to our own goal.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. Dermo, Kulu at left back, is that an experiment you'd be willing to try?
Nah, I don't think so. I think, look, as Jack said, thank you for the support and the lads. I'm sure they appreciate, but that, no, for me, no way.
No worries. Big up. So there you are, all four of us. We've said no to Kulu at left back, but let us know maybe your thinking behind it. That'd be absolutely awesome. Big yourself up, my man. And where I lost it. Really do appreciate the support. But let me know maybe why you think Kulu could work there. What are we missing, you know? So let us know, sir. We also have Dragging These Nuts, member for 1 month. Big yourself up. Great name. That's what Dragusin's name on the back of his jersey should be. Big good day chat and all the all-star panel. Come on, you Spurs, 5-0. Absolutely love that. Big up Dragging These Nuts. Really, really appreciate the support there. And the old lad says he was disappointed with the training session because they never showed the club hairdresser. Seems to be very busy and got good haircuts going there. Graham Roberts was rolled out for a little while. That was good. And then they also spoke to a few people in the crowd and that. But big yourselves up. Really do appreciate the support. Where am I? Jacko, with the win last week, it lifted us into the Champions League spots after Villa were beaten by Man United. We are in an incredibly tight race for top 4. Is today's game against Wolves a must-win if we want to keep our top 4 hopes on track? Bear in mind, we've got Liverpool, Man City, Arsenal, West Ham, Newcastle, all in a very condensed period coming up after a little run of games here.
I think absolutely, because the only games that, you know, towards the end of the season is kind of where the table has started to solidify and it started to kind of take, for the most part, its shape. And now pretty much every point is absolutely massive and is absolutely crucial here. I don't think you can really give up too many defeats or too many dropped opportunities here. So Spurs, especially at home, coming up against what is ultimately a team that we should be, beating, because if we want to take ourselves seriously, these are the teams that you do expect to beat at home. We absolutely have to win this one. And maybe there are games ahead of the season, like you said, maybe a Liverpool away from home, and other games and so on that perhaps you could tolerate, maybe just some drop points there. But these sort of games, for sure, I mean, you have to absolutely pick up all 3 points. And if it needs to be with a late winner once again, and we have to talk about, an unconvincing performance, so be it. But I'd much rather just take 3 points at this stage of the season where it really matters most.
Oh, look, if it was last minute, you look, I'd celebrate it, but then once the storm comes, I'll have to talk about the force. Exactly, but I'll take it. Exactly. I'll do it by hook or crook at this point. And this guy's getting back to us saying, I agree with all 4 points well said. Maybe because he always attacks that position, he would know the trade secrets on how to defend. Look, I'm not saying Cooley doesn't know how to defend, but from what I gather throughout his whole career, even as a child, he was never a defender. He's always been that attacking player. I like to say, I'm not saying he doesn't know how to defend, but if he hasn't been asked to do it, I don't think it's something you could coach him up within a couple of days to be able to fill in on that. But look, really appreciate support. And look, I like these sort of out of the box thinking on these, positions and stuff like that. Keep them coming if anyone's got any more. Gambling says Dragu, Van de Ven, Romero, back 3, extra midfield / attack. You know what? I see a lot of this being banned around on social media, and I'm starting to see more and more fans clamour to it. Does everyone forget they didn't like the back 3 we played last season? Everyone was moaning about it. Now all of a sudden they want to move back to a back 3. I'm sorry, but for me that's the definition of Spursy. I don't sit there and complain about it for 1.5 seasons and then come into me when we're doing well and playing back to a back 4 and going, I want to see a back 3 again. I'm sorry, that is the definition of Spursy on that. Look, for me, I think you're keeping an extra body back there that you don't need. If you look at the likes of Pedro Porro and Adoji, there you go. Pedro Porro comes into midfield, Adoji joins the attack. So effectively, you're actually only left with 2 defenders sitting there. You put 3 there, you're actually taking an extra body out of the midfield or an extra body actually out of the forward line. And all they're going to do is sit there as well in that back 3. Now, it may be something Ange might pivot to next season to cover the way we're being exposed with the switches of playing quickly then down that right-hand side or sometimes down the left-hand side as well. It might happen next season. But I don't understand why everyone's calling for it after dismissing it last season. That's where I'm at with it. Anyone else want to have their say on this?
I mean, I get where you're coming from, Dave, when it comes to going back to the horrid back 3, the nightmarish back 3 of the days of Antonio Conte for a lot of people. It just, brings back too many bad memories. In the case of Dragusin, technically, he's very experienced in that, but I kind of like, we'll get to this question, so I don't want to spoil it, but I like what your back 4 kind of was, Dave. That was exclusive to the members. I really was convinced because you asked me just the first question, what do you put at right back? I gave a different answer. And then you sort of gave, both at the same time, and it made a lot of sense. So I'm going to stick with the back 4 ahead of this one, gambling. So, Dave, I think we'll hear your answer maybe later on it. And when it comes to the midfield and the attack today, I think we're going to be expecting to see close to kind of our best, pretty much our best, choices when it comes to the midfield and the attack today, gambling, which is really nice to see.
I'm excited to see how that works today. Hopefully all the right components are back in place on that. Gambling says, I think we do have a better quality back 3 now, at least to achieve that. Not that I ever complain. No, look, that 100%, hopefully it's not going to be a Davies, a Dyer, and a Romero, right? It's going to be a Romero, Van de Ven, and a Dragusin. But then do we have the depth behind that currently right now to be able to play that? If we get a player injured, you're straight away going to have to switch back to a back 4. I don't want to Davies back in this defense, okay, he's done all right, but the reality is we've dropped off in results and performances since we've had to rely on him and stuff like that coming into backline, and since then we haven't been able to get back to keeping clean sheets. So I do hear what you're saying. Me personally, I want to stick with the back 2. I think it works. Yes, there's certain areas where we get exposed, but I'm sure Ange will iron that over out the summer, and we'll come into next season with all bases covered. Dermo, do you want to see us get back to a back 3 anytime soon?
Look, I saw It's an option. I agree with you, Dave, but I look at it. We haven't got a Dyer or what we had on the Conte. We've got 3 capable defenders, but I prefer the back 4. I think if you're going to go back to a back 3, it's especially with Davis and Emerson as fullback. Emerson will probably fill into that role fine. Davis, for me, is not a win back. And then you're leaving yourself open on that side anyway. So, look, just stick with the 4. Stick Rudu in that back 4. But Emerson one side, Rudu the other. And just go with that. Because at least you know you've got defenders that will defend. I think going back to a back 3 is an option. But I think you change it if you're chasing the game or if you're winning the game and a defender comes off and you wanna see out the game, then go back to a back 3. I wouldn't start with it. I'd probably use it as a seeing out a game sort of formation to pick up the 3 points more than starting with it personally.
Okay. Jose, where are you at with it? Are you going to be any different to myself, Jack and Dermo here, or
listen? We don't have a back 4, regardless of what you guys say and what anyone says to me. We don't have a back 4 because Porro and Udogie are not fullbacks. They are bloody inverted players that end up as auxiliary 10s. So for me, we could start with if you want to call it a back 4, let's call it 4 players that play at the back. I would start with Dragusin, Van der Ven, Romero and bloody Emerson, or I'd go Dragusin, Van der Ven, Romero and Bentancur, because it doesn't matter. Just put 4 names at the back, but we don't play with 4 people.
It does matter though, Jose, because defensively it goes into a back 4. In possession, it comes out of the back 4, so it does matter.
They make a solid line in a 4. Yeah,
I see when we're defending, a lot of the time that I see when we're defending, we've actually got Van der Ven, Romero, and one of the midfielders dropping back in because Porro and Udogie are so far up the pitch that when we're defending, we go to a 3 because we've got the 2 centre-halves, a staple are there, and the midfielder seems to drop in because our 2 boys that are left and right back are up the pitch. So
yeah, that's in possession, but when they get back defensively, Porro gets back down that right-hand side and Udogie gets back down that left-hand side.
Once they do get back.
In a defensive setup, it is a back 4.
When they spring it on us, we've only ever got the 2 centre backs and the midfielder that drops, because when they spring it on us, our Udogie and Porro are so far up the pitch. Yeah, okay, they might then make it back before the action of play is finished, but if the action of play is finished before they get there, they're still up the pitch. So to me, we don't play a traditional back 4, but in name, we name 4 players there.
Okay. But there you are, Gamlin. There's our answers, my man. Big yourself up, sir. And really appreciate it.
Dermot wants to say something. Look.
Dermot, go ahead.
I just want to say,
hand up, my man. Just speak, sir.
Yeah, well, I'm being polite. I didn't want to be called rude again like earlier. Sorry, Dave.
We're not in class, though. I'm not.
No, I know, but I'm just trying to be polite. Last week, I noticed, because I was behind the goal, I got a very good view of our back 4. And I noticed if one fullback goes up, the other one does stay back a bit. And it's sort of, they don't both go off at the same time. Porro stayed back when Destiny goes forward. And when Porro goes forward, Destiny sort of stays back a little bit. And it sort of always falls back into a back 4. Look, they're great going forward. They're effective wing-back wingers. They're the new wing-backs, if you know what I mean. But I just they don't stay up the top. If one goes, one stays back. They change it when one goes forward. So it effectively becomes a back 3 if one goes forward, because one just slots into that left side of the defense. So we're never no more than 3 at the back, but it is forward defense. And last week, I'm just saying what I saw last week. So that's all. Sorry.
Well, look, sticking with you, Darmo, and then I'll move on to Jose with the next one after. Who's that? Someone got to say something? No. Okay. Dermo, Wolves beat Tottenham 2-1 in November thanks to 2 late goals from Pablo Sarabia and Mario Lemina. We were without key players that day, with the majority of our starters back today. Should we see a different outcome in terms of the result? Bear in mind, I think it was Dyer and Davies at centre back. We had barely any midfield options. Was Destiny Udogie out that game? I think he might have been. I think
Yeah.
Emerson might have been at left back. So do you think having a lot of these players back today, obviously bar the full backs, will have a different impact on the result today?
On paper, yes, we should beat them, but football's not paid on paper. Wolves, we've got an awful record against Wolves. Wolves is very tricky. I think we've had 3 out of the last 5 games against Wolves. It's been 3 wins for us, 2 wins for Wolves, no draws in the last 5 Premier League games. So it's been very sort of you win, we win, you win, we win. Wolves is trickier than Brighton. Brighton are a good side. So this is why I said with the Brighton game, I thought the result mattered more. But this is the games where you have to pick up 3 points. We have to avenge what happened up at them up at their ground. We were woeful for the whole game. I'm sorry. We were dreadful. Defensively, we shot ourselves in the foot. I just feel we may have too much for Wolves today, but I'm not underestimating them, Dave. Wolves is not a team you underestimate. And they're playing well at the moment under Gary O'Neill, by the way, as well, and playing some good football. And they've beaten sides like Chelsea, and they've really punched above their weight. We should win, but it's going to be a difficult game. But I'm still going for the 4-0. I just think we're going to go out there and turn them over today for some reason.
Look,
I just got that gut wrench. But we have to be careful because Wolves are not a team you take lightly. And we've got to be on our game. We saw that when we went there 2 years ago, Dave. The beat is 2-0. The beat is early in the season. The time under Mourinho, we beat them with a late winner from Jan. They're not a team you can go over there and roll over because they're well organised, well defended, the midfield works hard, and they all work hard for each other. But I think today at home we should win, but we have to be very wary of them. That's my thing. But on paper, we should roll over them. But as I said, football's not played on paper.
Look, I agree with that. I think my whole lifetime supporting Spurs, Wolves has always been a tricky fixture. I'd argue more so at their place than at our place. But, they work hard. They block up and they look to try and hit you lightning quick on the counter. And some would say that's probably our maybe weakness in that regard. So, look, not taking it for granted by any means today. But I do think we should have enough to beat them, especially with Mateus Cunha being out. That's an absolute huge loss for them. Jose, my man, will score 2 late goals to win 2-1 at the Molineux in the reverse fixture this season. Are you keen to get some revenge in front of our own supporters today?
I don't think it's revenge. I think we were embarrassing at Wolves. We played Ange ball, if you want to call it Ange ball, for 4 minutes. And in them 4 minutes, we went 1-0 up. As soon as we'd gone 1-0 up, the rest of the game, it was backs against the wall at Molineux. You're quite right. Our back 4 included Emerson, Davis and Dyer. So, again, the vital part of our team in defence, we were missing the 2 people that are now back. So, therefore, I have that comfort. Maddison was also injured and weren't playing in that game either. He's now back as well. So, on paper, as Dermot said earlier, on paper, we look a lot stronger squad-wise. I'm not even going to say first 11-wise, squad-wise, than what we did when we played them earlier on this season. As I said, it's hard to predict Tottenham, but as soon as we click and we get that first good victory under our belts and play football for a longer sustained period of time in the game, as soon as we hit that, right, I believe that will have a domino effect, and then we will then start doing this more and more often to teams, a la what he's done in the past, and with his teams in the past, everywhere he's been. Once he's got the team into a rhythm and sorted, they then affect games thereafter. We need to start somewhere, but I say it every week. Let's come and do it, let's go and do it. And I'm hoping, for God's sake, that we start today. Let's just play them 2 halves of football. Let's start on the front foot from the very off, like we did against Wolves at their place. We were electrifying for 4 minutes. Let's be electrifying for half an hour. And even if you have to settle down for the last 15 minutes, let's be electrifying for half an hour. Let's be electrifying for half an hour in both halves. And if we do that, we will blow teams away. Honestly, we will blow teams away. But we've got to start somewhere. We've got to get that first blow away done, and then I think we'll have a domino effect thereafter.
Look, I agree with you. I think you get the first sort of, 4-0 win. I think you get a few more that'll follow it the way we play. Once you get that, it'll breed confidence, and then that's hard to stop. But Jack, we'll go to you, and then I've got two little super chats here from Dark Sun G that we're going to have a discussion on, and then I've got a question that I'm going to throw at you, and you can kick us off. Probably one that's going to cause a lot of debate, maybe some arguments. We'll wait and see. Dark Sun G says, O'Neill tactics is bringing the best out of Wolves. Jack, I mean, we had a great conversation yesterday, sort of before the game, and I find ourselves this season at various points having conversations privately about O'Neill. You did say yesterday you think is England's one of top 3 managers.
Yeah, I sort of annoy.
nationality.
Yeah, I sort of annoy Dave as well as Welsh Gal a lot, Dark Sun G, with kind of my love for Gary O'Neill or kind of my praise for him. I do think he's very underrated. For the most part, I don't feel like England have very great managers to really boast from. But if you really look at it, I think Eddie Howe is definitely a better manager than Southgate. And I'd argue potentially, I mean, Gary O'Neill's kind of making a name for himself and has done very well with what he's had to offer. He took over that Scott Parker team and pretty much embarrassed Scott Parker by finishing well above, the relegation line and finished kind of comfortably for Bournemouth. I think it was weird for them to sack him, but I think, ultimately both parties can be happy because he went on to a club with a bit more budget in the case of Wolves and has now been carrying them, out of what was also relegation form. I think Wolves, finished near kind of the relegation stage kind of towards the end of the season. So he's carried them up. I think he's a very good manager, and he's bringing out the best out of Wang Hee-chan, who was at one stage kind of being ignored or kind of used as a impact sub most of the time, when he's weirdly been kind of their best scorer for kind of some time since Raul Jimenez has, stopped being the guy that he used to be. So I love Wang Hee-chan, love Gary O'Neill. They're kind of my second favorite team this season, Dark Sun G, for the most part. I've been annoying Dave a lot kind of about it with my praise for them.
No, look, I like O'Neill. I'm with you. I think he done a superb job at Bournemouth. The manner which Scott Parker handled it compared to O'Neill. And Scott Parker, believe it or not, I've heard people say they were in the coaching course with him and he was going to be the next big English manager. He's got all the ideas. And look at the way he handled the Bournemouth one compared to Gary O'Neill. I'd argue probably not. I'll take this one, Jack, and then I have another one to throw at you, sir. Dark Sun G says, when do you think we play Blues away? I hope March. Being brutally honest, I'm just going to give me 1 second, Dark Sun G. I actually think I have a feeling it'll probably be thrown in between the Liverpool and the City game somehow. It's a way the Premier League can get us back. The referees have done it. Now it's a way for the Premier League to be able to shaft us. It always happens. When's that City, Liverpool? So we've got Newcastle, Tottenham, Arsenal, Liverpool, all within the space of 4 weeks, one after another. I can almost guarantee you that's when it'll be thrown in. Somewhere in there, midweek, between the Liverpool, probably between the Arsenal and City game, I would hazard as a bet. Let's not pretend the Premier League are going to do us any favours there whatsoever. So I'd hazard a bet that's probably when it's going to be played. And I will be at that North London derby, which I absolutely cannot wait for. And then he says, Jacko, Wolves away, we played them after that cursed Blues. Do you think that result would have had an impact on the Wolves game, considering how sort of depleted we went into it?
That's a fair point. There was kind of just a lot of just post recovery, post in some way, just kind of drama from that. It just felt like Spurs just were really rattled by that Chelsea game in so many ways, because they felt like they played out of their skin, that nothing was going their way, and just bad individual moments and decisions just ultimately cost them, despite them really running Chelsea out of town, I felt like, in that game. So yeah, I could see that playing a part, but also I felt like Spurs kind of, once they went 1-0 up, sort of sleptwalked in that game, kind of, Dark Sun G. I think we kind of let Wolves back into the game. Felt like maybe when we went 1-0 up that early, thought it was just going to be handed to us, made easy for us, but it wasn't. They ended up kind of just outplaying us for the majority of the game, and we weirdly just held out, I think, thanks to a lot of individual defensive brilliance from plenty of players. And there weren't really that many great performances on the day, I remember, in that Wolves away game. So let's just hope it doesn't happen again. And yeah, it could have been though a bit because of that kind of post, kind of just reaction to the Chelsea game. That's definitely a factor, I'd say.
I mean, it was bad as well. I think we had a Villa fucking defeat as well in and around then. It was just a bad period. It absolutely ruined my hopes for this season of a title challenge. Dark Sunji completely pulled it down. And he says, last time I lost as a Korean plus Spurs fan because Son Hwang didn't score. That was in the reverse fixture. I hope I win as a Korean plus Spurs fan with Hwang scoring and Son scoring the winner today. Come on, you Spurs. Do you know what, Dark Sunji? I just want the clean sheet so bad. It's been 15 games, keeping clean sheets is a great habit to get into, right? So I kind of don't want Hwang to score. However, I'll cut a deal with you. If we're 4-0 up, I'll allow Hwang to score and maybe not be so disappointed.
No.
It's a really
I want my 4-0. I want my 4-0.
It's a really bad scenario I could see happening for. I'm not sure. Maybe it's an okay one for Dark Sunji. Dave has brought this up to the members, I believe, or to others, that this is one of the teams that Sonny actually, weirdly, Dark Sunji does not play well against and has not, had such a great goal record. So what could end up happening is Spurs get like a 3-1, 3-2 win. Hwang ends up, with like a double or something, and then Sonny doesn't even score at all, and it's like a Richie hat trick. So maybe that's sort of a situation for you there, Dark Sunji. But Sonny, weirdly enough, does not play well against this team. And I feel like you don't hear that very often. Mostly, most teams, it feels like he usually scores a plenty against, but not Wolves, I think Dave was talking about.
Yeah, it's his bogey team. You know what? Is it 10 games without a goal against Wolves now? Look, hopefully he'll rectify that today. The El Capitan, big up Dark Sunji. Really appreciate support. Stevie D, sir, good to see you. Hopefully you're keeping well. Welsh Gal, great to see you. Hopefully you're keeping well as well. And Adrian Shocker agrees with me about the fixture stitch up. However, he does say we've got one game a week and our rivals have European football, so we will all have fresher legs. Look, that's a very fair point, and I really do hope that comes into play by the back end of the season. I was just saying, my original theory was if we're in and around the title race come then, it's in our hands, and with them playing European football, hopefully it'll work out in our favour. But look, let's just secure top 4 for the time being over the next few weeks, and then I can get back into my title talk. Big up, Bobby, as well. Good to see you, along with not Welsh Cal, just a girl who loves Spurs. Good to see you as well, Kate. Hopefully you're keeping well. Where's Jimbo? Usually he's tagging along with you. I love a bit of Jimbo before match days. Brilliant. But guys, I'm just putting the question out there. Feel free to have whatever sort of opinion you want on it. Spurs, in my opinion, haven't played their best stuff over the past month, despite several key players returning from injury. Why are we struggling to get back to where we were after the first 10 games in the season? Who wants to bite on that one? Who wants a nibble?
Okay, go on. I'll have a go. Right, so I think it's a multitude of things. We have players that have returning from AFCON and Asia Cup. We've got players that are returning from injury and are trying to build themselves back up. Let's not forget, Van der Ven had an awful injury. And Van der Ven's, four games back or so. Romero, out, suspended for quite a while. And that basically, staple in the team, the only staple that we've had in the team is probably Porro. Vicario, Porro. Everybody else has had a stint outside of the team through suspension, through injury, or having to represent their countries away from home. So I think it's a case of people coming back and finding their feet. And that's why I think we struggled, because we had the momentum in the first 10 games because we didn't change much. We had our starting 11 for the first 10 games. And after the first game, I think the only change there was Porro didn't start against Brentford. It was Emerson. Porro then started the second game, and then the same 11 basically ran through until the Chelsea debacle. So I just think there's a whole multitude of reasons combined, but we're after today's game, we're going to turn around and say a month after all these things have happened, because obviously the Asia Cup's now finished, the AFCON's finished, the people that can return back from injury getting more minutes in their legs. I think from now onwards we should be looking forwards, and this gelling should be starting up again.
Look, hopefully that's the plan. That's the plan, Jose. Hopefully they start gelling together now again and really start producing me that sexy football that I could go out and just rip other clubs apart with. Because I'm going to send out and back. I'd say play the way we play and come back to me. Can't do that right now, which is sad. Dermo, you want to have your say? Spurs sort of put in his comments here. He says we've not played our best stuff from 10 games in. I think the players just need to get back up to speed after injuries and international tournaments, etc. Where are you at on it?
Yeah, look, it's just momentum for me. It's just momentum, and everyone, as Jose said, everyone getting back from injuries, competitions, and that. I think it's also that teams have worked us out. Teams have worked us out how we play, and I think we have to reinvent ourselves how we play Ange ball. I think everyone worked the first 10 games. It was all new. It was all different. Teams weren't working this out. But very quickly, top managers will work out how to play Tottenham. And if you play us in a certain way, you nullify the Ange way of playing. So we have to reinvent ourselves. And I think Ange is trying to reinvent Ange ball within the Premier League. It's a lot different than the Scottish League, though you have to beat what's in front of you up there to win the league. I don't care what anyone says. I know it's only Celtic and Rangers, but you have to beat Rangers twice. You have to beat your teams in front of you. And I think for Ange, it's more reinventing Ange ball for the Premier League. To teams then don't know how we're going to play. So I think I agree with Jose in a way as well. It's back players coming back, but also its teams have worked us out. Managers have worked how to nullify our attacking way of playing. So I think once Ange reinvents that, then we can spring surprises onto teams how we play. I think we'll be back playing how we were at the start of the season. But I think teams have worked us out. That's my main sort of take on that question.
Interesting. Just for me quickly, Jack, and then we'll let you sort of, come in on this one, Jack. I don't think teams have worked out how to play against us. I think the way they've played against us has completely switched. They used to sit 2 banks of 4, whatever you want, 5 and a 4 in front of the ball and say, come and break us down. That was what was happening in the first 10 games of the season. However, since injuries, since we've had to play players of less caliber in the midfield and in the defense who are not as good on the ball as the players that they're coming in, that's all I ask for. They don't have to be as good, but at least just be as competent on the ball as the players that are stepping out and these guys are coming in. Teams then switched it and start pressing us nice and high. Everton done it, got joy. Brentford done it, got joy. And I've no doubt Wolves will probably try and attempt it today, get a bit of joy. Man City done it, got a lot of joy out of us. And it sort of almost killed momentum. And for me, that highlights completely what I've been saying for years about this club. The squad players are not good enough. We've got more work to do this summer in rotating, getting certain players out and bringing players in that are of a certain technical ability so that when we do carry injuries, we can still pass out from the back with great effect. We can still get on the ball in midfield and feed our forward players with great effect. So for me, that's one thing that I think that definitely highlights is that our squad isn't nowhere near good enough. And what's happening now is, because when we were playing the likes of Davies and that at centre-back and teams were pressing us high, now we're getting our injured players back in. All of a sudden, it's like, Jesus Christ, teams are playing completely different against us from where they were playing against us earlier on in the season when I was playing before I've come back from injury. So now they have less time on the ball and everything else. And it's sort of, we're starting to find a way out of it. The better we become on the ball and pass teams back to debt again, the more that'll change and the more they'll have to sit back. But that will keep happening every single season as long as if we don't continue to improve that squad. It's what killed Conte last year with all the injuries, and it's very lucky it hasn't unraveled under Ange this season because of it. More work to do this summer for me, and hopefully getting back to this first 11 now, we can start playing the way we did in the first 10 games of the season, especially get that press back. And then hopefully teams then can still keep sitting back and we can have the majority of the possession. Because once we do, we will find a way to score goals for sure. Jacko, where are you at with it?
I think it's kind of for a multitude of reasons, but I'll just be quick about it because, I think we've heard a lot of good answers on it. I think it's players reacclimating themselves from the injury, and that's because it's harder with this sort of style of play where you're moving about a lot, covering a lot of ground, have to be totally switched on when it comes to loose balls and recoveries and knowing where you are sort of on the pitch kind of positionally. A lot of those things I think will take a toll on a player, and I think if you're just coming back from injury, it's not easy. You would almost rather actually play in kind of a deep lying back five or something, kind of get, back into sort of the shape of things instead of having to really stretch like that. And then another reason too is I think certain players actually went missing over a period, Dave, if I'm going to be
Fair point.
perfectly honest. Like, I think
Fair
Brendan
point.
Johnson, went missing in a lot of games. He wasn't really performing to the level needed. Once Sonny left, I think the only guy that really stood up in that forward line was Richarlison, but can't really rely on one player like that, especially as much as I love Richarlison, I don't think he was going to, it's not sustainable for him to actually carry us, to, top three, top two, sort of on his own shoulders. Like, he needed help from other players in that forward line. And I'm not really sure he actually got it. I don't think he got enough help from Timo Werner when he came in.
Yeah.
He hasn't, in terms of the goals, they've missed chances. I look at Brendan Johnson, who's missed chances in games. You look at Kulusevski, who's gone missing as well during that period too. He hasn't played nearly as well as he was, at other stages of the season. And then when it comes to the midfield, I mean, Madison was gone, and we needed somebody like Lo Celso to step up. And Lo Celso was injured and was never available and could have really played a huge part in helping that midfield out. But we had to play like mix of like Højbjerg, Skip, and like whoever else we could fit in there. Like, the midfield just kept changing and chopping up because of, a lot of injuries in there. So I think it was a lot of players going missing, and, also Lo Celso not helping us out in that sort of creative department. We really were crying out for a creative midfielder in games, and just was never available to be picked. So, and also maybe managers like Guardiola, managers like De Zerbi, I do think are tactically smart enough to kind of pick out little areas that they can exploit. Not saying that, the system is flawed or anything, but they can pick out areas to hurt Spurs, and I think they have.
No, absolutely. I definitely agree with the point you made about certain individuals not stepping up when we sort of needed them, the likes of Akulu and stuff like that. When you do carry injuries, okay, right, you have to step up, and he hasn't. You're absolutely spot on in that regard there, Jacko. Look, it's probably a combination of everything that we've all said here, this afternoon. Go on, Dermot.
Just one more thing on that. I think you are right when you say about the squad. I think that's a very good point. People need.
I know I'm right. I've been saying it for years.
Yeah,
and I'm
but the
right
thing
every
is,
year.
I think there's a difference between when it unraveled under Conte, why it hasn't unraveled under us, because the players didn't respect Conte. There was there was a lot of chinks within the squad, within the dressing room, where under Ange there isn't. Everyone's behind Ange. The dressing room is one. Under Conte, there was cliques in the dressing room, so certain players wouldn't play for Conte, where certain players would. Where this squad needs improving, of course, we all know that. But this squad we have at the moment is fully behind Ange and fully invested in Ange ball, where I think under Conte, why it unraveled so very quickly under Conte was because the players weren't behind him. They didn't like his methods. They didn't like his training methods. They didn't like him personally, probably as a manager. So I think that's why it unraveled a lot quicker, why it probably hasn't unraveled under Ange, because the players are behind him. And I think that's probably the big difference. And you are right. We need better players in the squad. It is a squad game. We need to improve the squad. I don't disagree with you 100%, but I'm just...
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I think I made this point to Jack somewhere in one of the conversations we were having yesterday, Jack. We had so many. But, about the change in the leadership group, that's why I think Ange Postecoglou has got away with it. To Dermot's point, he's got stronger leaders in that dressing room than maybe what Conte did, and that's probably where Conte let himself down, trusting Eric Dyer in the leadership group. Adrian Chia says Richie brace plus a Basuma worldie, Spurs 3-1. Wolves, Jacko, we love a Richie goal here.
We love Richie goals, but if you caught a bit of the footage, Dave, of the training videos, Basuma did have a worldie in training. And of course, in training, they like to take their time, really measure up their shots. But if Basuma gets a chance to do that today, Adrian J, he scored an absolute worldie in training, just really tucked it into the upper B's. So let's hope that happens today. Rock out the third kit, Basuma third kit society flowing with that beautiful hair as well. And a Richie brace, would love to see it. I mean, I think he's still playing, last game wasn't his best, I would say, when he was off of a really fine spell of form, but I'm not too many worries kind of about it. I think Richie will be back to his best today.
No, I really do hope so. Came out in a well dry last week. I think I said this in one of my predicted lineups. It's madness with Richie. You put him 1-on-1, you don't really have great confidence he's going to score, but I'd argue he takes his half chances as good as anybody else in world football. You know, I think so. Like, you know, it's. I love Richie, though. I love him. It's just a work ethic for me. Even if things aren't going well, you work hard, and that's exactly what he proved. I love that.
I shouted that last week, right? Jack loves you. Jack and Dave love you. Richie was near right corner, right, and Vicari, and both put the thumbs up when I shouted this. And Richie watches you guys. So I'm just that, yeah. Then you know, Richie does watch you and Jack do your great shows. I have to say that. But it was Richie last week. He was so unlucky. He had one shot and it just missed by that much. And I was just right behind the goal. Please, Richie, score when I'm here. Please score. But yeah, he worked hard. He had a good game. He worked damn hard last week.
Yeah, no, I love a bit of Al Pumba. He knows that as well. He knows he's big fans. We have special occasions here. I don't see any other comment from there on down in the chat, my man. So if there was supposed to be a comment with that, please just put it in the chat and we'll bring it up. If not, really appreciate the donation. So it really does mean a lot. And hopefully it means you're enjoying the show. That'd be good. Big up special occasions from a really freezing Cyprus. I remember. And then Jim, just the guy who loves Spurs. Hi, gents. 4-1, the mighty Spurs. The title is on. Jim, get a couple of wins over these next few games. Arsenal, City, Liverpool coming up. Some would say it might be in our own hands by then. I'm just going to sit back and wait and see what happens until then. Just get me points on the board, Jimbo. I see you have another question down there. Give me 1 minute and I will get to it, sir. But really appreciate the support from yourself and Kate. And guys, please do get over and check them out on their channel. Just a girl who loves Spurs. And you often see her and Jimbo talking out Tottenham's life problems. So get on that. We also have Catman Jess, member for 30 months. Catman, great to see you. Big up, guys. 3-0 Spurs, Richie, Sonny, and Timo. Come on, you Spurs. Do you know, I'm starting to debate whether I'm actually going to get to whip out the robot, the moonwalk, you know, the cha-cha slide, you know, with Werner on the dance floor. It doesn't seem like it. Maddison had a chance to slip him through last week. He decided to cut in and have the shot. I thought that was my moment. He had a couple of opportunities against United that ended up in Coronation Street. I mean, I'm starting to wonder. He's got one of the greatest songs for a player, but I don't know if he can find the back of the net for us to unleash it. Let's wait and see. Catman Jess, big yourself up there, sir.
3 different celebrations to do there. In case, if all 3 score, it's 3 different celebrations you have to do, Dave. You have to do the Prue. You have to do the Sunny Pictures celebration, and you have to do a Timo on the dance floor. And
you got to video it, or someone video you doing it.
Don't worry. You know, I'll be waiting that much for Werner to score. It'll just naturally happen. Everyone will see it on camera.
There's your new TikTok dance, Safe. There's your new TikTok dance now. Because you're on TikTok now, there's your new TikTok dance for you.
Oh, no, I'm on TikTok, you know, just to sort of put the content out there and all. But I'll tell you now, I definitely won't be...
The Werner dance up there. You got to put the Werner dance up there, Dave. That's a new sensation.
Look, we'll wait and see. The world is my oyster at this moment in time. Jim, just a guy who loves Spurs. This question, Dave, do the panel think we're still in the title race? I cannot get my head around. We are 7 points behind the top and 42 points still to play for. And so many Spurs fans say I'm a delusional. First of all, Jim, you're not delusional. You just want the best for your club. And you're a glass half full sort of guy, like myself. So let's clear that up. Second of all, even if you were delusional, there's no harm in it. Sometimes
you're in the right place.
Bad in the world, right? It comes from a good place. Are we in a title race? Look, it's a bit of a weird one. We're 7 points off the top, like you alluded to. You know, some of them teams have to play each other, and then we've also got them in a 4-game period, and hopefully they're all in Europe by then, and hopefully they're tired, carry a few injuries, and who knows? What I would say, Jim, is get me closer than 7 points. Get me down to 2-3 points before we head into that 4 or 5 game fixture list. And I think then it's on. Right now, I think we're like that horse, you know. The jockey went a little bit early and he's starting to slow up a little, you know, and he's just straggling behind the others a little bit. Close that gap. Look, I'm one of them, Jim. Until it's mathematically impossible, I'm not giving up. I'm secretly sitting here hoping what I've just said to you works, and then all of a sudden I come back out and go, I told you we're in a title race. That would be ideal for me, Jimbo. Guys, any of you think we're still in a title race? Think it's just top 4 and we're done? Get out of this season?
Look, you know me. If you want delusional, I'm the king of being delusional. And I've been saying it from the start of the season, we're going to win the league. And I haven't gone away from that. But I'm going to put a spanner in the works, as I normally do. we have to watch out. Down the road, there is 10 points deduction coming. Now, I'm hearing that Tottenham will face a 10 points deduction for the Jermaine Defoe deal. What happens? Now, Tottenham will appeal that and probably win their appeal. But there is a 10 points deduction coming down the road to hit us. Same with Villa, I think, are in that as well. And another Premier League team in the top 6 also facing points deduction. Both of them for FFP. The 10 points for us is the Jermaine Defoe transfer. So we have to watch out for that. That cannot be. But yeah, personally, I think we're still in the title race. I think if we can beat the teams around us, keep winning our games, other teams play each other and beat that, and we can pick up points as we're going along, we're there and thereabouts. But this 10 points for me is going to be a big thing. We're dropped down to 7th with 10 points taken off. But we'll probably win it on appeal. But we have to be
that's
very
if the
careful.
10 points are taken off. We'll wait and see. I mean, 10 points is extreme considering that's what
it
everything
is. I mean,
financial fair play.
It's going to be announced sometime next week. So I was told ahead of time this is coming now, Dave. I put it as sort of not as breaking news, but more as unconfirmed reports. But this is what I've been told. This is coming down. Everton and Forest are going to be hit with 10 points as well. So that's them effectively relegated. Villa are in that bracket as well for 10 points for FFP. So I think this season we could win the league because of teams getting hit with FFP deductions. This is where it could help us. So we have to keep a very, very close eye on this. And then I think it could be one of them seasons we can win the league. But FFP will actually do the destiny of this league this year, in my view.
Well, look, let's wait and see what happens in the FFP fallout next week. And we got about 35 minutes left. I've got a lot of questions about the starting lineup that we're going to horse through now in just 1 minute. Dark Sun G says Richie plus Son after their surgeries, contributing goals and assists. Absolutely spot on. Look, I tried warning everyone at the start of the season. The reason why Son isn't performing is not because he can't play on the left. It's because he's had surgery right before preseason and he was struggling to get back from it. Now that he's back, he's absolutely flying. Richarlison, I think it was Johnny telling everyone for months, the guy's injured. You know, he's shirked surgery. It's now getting to the point where he actually needs it. And since he's come back, Richie's lived up to his word, Jacko.
Could you say that, Dave, just to throw it right back at you, could you say they were guilty of kind of the same thing, Richarlison and Sonny, where they kind of delayed a surgery that probably was kind of vital for them, but they just decided to kind of push through it, see if they could still, contribute at a pretty, efficient manner. Maybe if they still didn't feel their best, they kind of still felt like they were good enough to try to still contribute, but they actually were holding themselves back actually in some sort of regard. Maybe in the case of Sonny from last season, right? He was, dealing with a few different things and then eventually got that surgery. And then Richarlison as well, would you say?
Yeah, Richarlison as well. I think, look, Richarlison came out. He said he delayed his surgery because he wanted to play for Brazil in the World Cup and then delayed it from there on out till the end of the season. Whether that was his choice or the club's choice, I'm not quite so sure. But we do have to remember, no player goes into every game 100%. So they are used to playing with some sort of niggle, some sort of injury, some sort of pain. Sonny, he definitely delayed his surgery. And I think that was more on the club's end and the manager's end, making that call or agreement with Sonny saying, look, we badly need you. Even if it's just off the bench, we badly need your sort of quality. Can you hang on till the end of the season? With Richarlison, it may have been a little bit of a different conversation because we had Harry Kane at the time. However, the reality is, since they've got their surgery, they've been absolutely flying, Dark Sun G, and absolutely great point, my man. Big yourselves up. And long may it continue for Slick Rick. I love him. I love him. And he also says, I want revenge for Wolves and Villa coming up in a month. Oh, 100%. I've done a video a couple of, maybe it was last week, 2 weeks ago, Dark Sun G, over our next 6 fixtures coming up, and I called it the Redemption Tour, because they all took points off us. They're all teams that took points off us earlier on in the season in our bad run, and now it's the Redemption Tour. Now it's time to claim them back, my man. So get on board the Redemption Tour, Dark Sun G. And then we also have Just the Girlie Loves Spurs with a super sticker. Give me 1 second, Kate. Oh, Jack's on it.
Just give me ein Moment, Kate here. Sorry about that. Okay. This one's interesting, Dave. It's
Fist
kind of like
pumps. Fist
yeah,
pumps.
it's almost like a handshake, really. It's a nice little fist bump. Maybe something that I don't know. Maybe there's something that you and Kate have between each other. I bet you and Jimbo as well have your own kind of secret handshake of some sort of kind. But yeah, it's looking kind of yeah, it's pretty smooth actually. I kind of like the look of it there. Kind of I enjoy this one actually because of all the super stickers we do see. This one is definitely a new one. Big up, Kate, and also I'm liking a little secret handshake.
Oh, yeah, I love that, Kate. Big yourself up. Really do appreciate the support on that. I'll spud you back, I suppose. Get your fist to that screen. Let's spud each other. Big yourself up, Kate. Really appreciate it. Dermot, this is about financial fair play. We're not getting into it. We're talking
It's not
about
financial fair play. I just want to clear this up. We're getting done for using an unlicensed agent on the Defoe deal. It's got nothing to do with FFP.
Yeah, but it's about that. We're not discussing.
No, I'm just clearing that up for the chat because there's a lot of confusion. I was just clearing that it's for an unlicensed agent.
Okay,
that's what we've been done for. I was just clearing that up. Sorry.
Right, let's get into what we're talking about when it comes into the starting lineup. So we will start with the fullback situation, guys. Where's it gone? Give me 1 second. Yeah, so Destiny Adoji misses today's game and because of a jarred knee. Pedro Porro misses today's game because of a strain. So we'll start with you, Jack. Work our way back around the panel. Who do you want to see? Look, what do you want to see across that back line today? Well, just fullbacks and centre back wise. What's your back four today that you want to see?
I mean, Dave, I feel like I'm going to steal yours because you convinced me on sort of when we went with the members. Well, originally I sort of just wanted to go with Emerson at right back, but then I realized that we do have a hole at left back if you go with Emerson there, and feels like if you push Mickey Van de Ven, towards left back, I think then you still leave yourself with a hole sort of at center back, to a degree, push someone over to the left-sided center back position that hasn't exactly played there comfortably yet this season. Also, I do feel like maybe Mickey Van de Ven he doesn't really have the turning radius and sort of the positional kind of, understanding that Udogie does because they just play such different positions. And also the way that you receive the ball, the way that, you try to bring others into play, just so different, from a center back position to where someone like Udogie plays. So I'd actually go with Emerson at left back, have him play that sort of inverted position. He's not going to be nearly as good as Udogie, but he will put himself in the right areas to, I think, cause problems, to receive the ball, to retain possession. Mickey Van de Ven at left-sided center back, Romero at right-sided center back, and then Dragashin, Dave. Let's see what he can do. Give us a solid defensive performance, maybe a bit of extra help, when it comes to defensive sort of situations and defensive set pieces. Even having Emerson too will have a much better chance of winning a lot of our headers actually from set pieces, you think. Let's see how they do. Two guys stepping in, good role players.
Great point about Emerson from the set pieces. We definitely could do with that. So look, I'm going to go with that same back four as well. Tron, what back four do you want to see today? Who do you want to see across that back line?
Look, I would rather see Radu in that fullback, and I put Radu and I put Van de Ven as the wing back. I don't think that's going to happen. I think Dave's going to be put in there. We don't want to see Davis, but I rather Van de Ven, Romero, Rudu, and then Emerson. That'd be my back four.
Okay,
that would be.
I'm all right with that.
Yeah, but look, we all know Davis probably will be picked, but that will be my ideal back four.
If I see him on the starting, especially because he was at fault for one or two of the goals against Wolves last time out, I won't be a happy man. Jose, where are you at with that back four? Who do you want to see across it?
Combination of Dragashin, Romero, Van de Ven, Pat Matassar.
Okay. So I think we're more or less all on the same wavelength there. People, please get me in the back fours that you want to see heading into this game. Now, I'm going to move into the midfield, and I want to sort of ask a question first, so then we sort of know what we're maybe looking for in that role. But, Jack, again, we'll start with you. What exactly are we looking for from that player in that number 6 role?
A lot of things, really. Out of possession first, I think you're looking for someone who can sit in front of that back four, cover a lot of ground, block up the gaps, don't make it as easy to be able to try to play between the lines, try to play through them, pick up a lot of loose balls, a lot of, kind of recoveries, see when to kind of get your foot in. but don't also, break the shape of the team, because if it gets behind you, if the ball gets behind you in that position, that usually does spell a bit of trouble, right? And then also then sort of in possession, you need to be able to be that guy that can receive the ball in the half turn, know when, you have pressure. So maybe know when not to turn, right? So you don't turn into trouble and end up getting picked. But also you have to still be progressive. You have to still be kind of positive on the ball. You can't just look to pass it sideways around, the opposition. You have to look to try to get on it, try to maybe take it past a player if need be to get a move started, break the lines of the opposition midfield with deep line passes, whether it's just on the floor, kind of through the midfield, or kind of big long switches of play, which we sometimes see from players like Højbjerg. He sometimes goes for that. But Dave, it kind of requires a lot, kind of, I think, in possession when it comes to dribbling, tight, close control, the ability to receive it on the half turn, to turn past their man, but then also the vision to break the lines of the opposition midfield and also keep the tempo going too, right? Because you're even in a way a bit of the tempo setter, because Ange wants us to play fast. The guy like that in kind of the number 6 position usually can be responsible for being the one that helps, the players learn and understand that we have to keep it moving. We have to play fast. So a lot of those sort of things for me.
No, 100%. I completely agree with you on that. So on that basis, Jack, for me, the number 6 position is definitely up for grabs today. Bentancur struggled against Brighton, losing the ball in the edge of the own box a couple of times, one of which led to a penalty. He was dribbled past twice and completed just 82% of his passes, whereas Bissouma returned to action for Spurs for the first time since December, and he completed 100% of his passes from the bench. Who do you want to see in that role today?
I think we're in a privileged position here compared to the days of Moussa Sissoko, Harry Winks, and Yada sort of in midfield to pick from. I mean, nowadays we have Højbjerg, Bentancur, or Bissouma who can play in that number 6 role, whichever one, is kind of in good form. I think Bissouma played very well when he came off the bench. We know when he is at his best, he is a terrific midfielder, especially in that department when it comes to, right, receiving on the half turn, getting us up the pitch, being progressive with the ball with his own 2 feet, and then being able to pick out passes that break the lines. Very good at that. And when he's on his best, can be very good defensively. He's been a bit sloppy, right, of recent, you could say, defensively, where he's had some rash tackles and just not been all the way there. But when he is on it, terrific player. So I'm going to go for Bissouma. Bentancur, we know when he's at his best, is a terrific player. It's just at the moment he isn't. And Højbjerg has been a terrific impact sub off the bench for us in coming into games. So I'm going to go for Bissouma. But these are much better pastures when it comes to the midfield, deeper positions than what we used to have with Winks and Sissoko. Players like that. Much, much better.
You know what? I'm completely with you. I'm going to go with Bissouma over Bentancur as well. And no, I'm a big fan of Bentancur, but he hasn't been able to get back to the heights he was at before he got his injury. And he's had a number of games now. Man City, he was poor. Brighton, he was poor. Brentford, he was poor. Last week, he was poor. Or Everton, he was poor. So, he's had a run of... And I did say it ages ago. I said it at the start of the season. Everyone's hoping that Bentancur will going on like Bentancur is going to come back and hit the ground running. I warned people. It's going to take him a while to get back up to speed where he was after such an injury, a long injury layoff. And it looks like that's where he's at this moment in time. So on that basis, I'd put Bissouma in and look for Bentancur maybe to come off the bench and bring a bit of control to the game in the later stages. But it's great we have these options. Guys, are you two texting each other down there? Or are you participating in the show? Who wants to answer this one?
Just keeping mine off because I don't know if it was my
his head screens down and everything. Go on.
No, I don't know if it was my
number 6 role.
Look, for me, I think Benny needs to be put on the bench. Højbjerg last week was brilliant when he came on, by the way. He was all over the pitch. He was demanding the ball. He was shouting, give me the ball, give me the ball, give me the ball. So he really did. I would start with Bissouma and Son. So we've got to start with the famous tree. And I think we've got to put Bissouma in there. Papa Sarr as well. But for me, Bissouma has to start. I think Benny needs to go on the bench. Benny's injury, the second one may have affected him a bit more than the first injury, if you know what I mean. So that's but I would start with Bissouma and Sarr. That Højbjerg last week, Jack, you would have been proud of him, as I was. He was immense when he came on. He was like a bull in a china shop. And I shouted and said, Højbjerg, get on it. And even at the corners, I noticed the problems with the corners. Hoiberg is the one that's shouting at the players, protect Vicario, protect Vicario. So for me, Hoiberg good for coming on, but start with the two lads that we start with all season, Basuma and Sarr for me.
Jose, where are you at? You a Bentacore man in the six today, or are you a Basuma man?
Right. Seeing you asked me for my defence, and I said a combination of 4, and Sarr was already there. And the reason why I put Sarr there, because I'm cheekily saying Sarr will go and invert into midfield anyway, right? So therefore, I would start with Biss at 6, but I'd also have room in there for Bentancur and for Maddison. They would be my 3 midfield, because I've already got Pat Matissar in a 4 already, so to speak, because I know that he'll invert straight away. And I believe that you have to have a strong defence, and having the other 3, if we're saying, like Dermot was at the game and he said, every time one attacked, the other stayed back. So if that's the case, you just let Pat go into the inversion role, and then you still got them 3 covering at the back. If you've got a strong unit at the back at your base, right, then confidence then spreads throughout your team. And I think that having that extra midfielder, we could actually slice them open big time today.
Interesting. Do you know, it'd be interesting to see if Ange ever does that, put midfielder at right back and, get him to sort of, continue on doing what the right back does. It would be interesting in that regard. But a midfield, I think, of Basuma, Sarr, and Maddison are actually undefeated this year, I believe. So, it'll be a good midfield going into today's game. We have DJ Samuel with the super sticker. Jacko, he's spinning off his chair today. May get him
keep it up, he says. Keep it up. This is he's also probably doing his best. Donovan Osterreicher is with us this morning. He's doing his best Donovan or maybe Daniel Larson impression, Dave, at the gym, lifting the irons, pumping the weights here, getting pumped up for the game. Some people like a nice little workout before the game. Wonder if DJ Samuel maybe is in that category. But big up to you, DJ. Hopefully you're enjoying your lovely Saturday afternoon. Find a way to maybe head to the pub or whatever it is that you haven't planned for today, DJ. Big up to you, my man out in North London.
Yeah, big up, DJ, my man. Please try and get a ticket for that North London derby. I'd love to meet you, even if you don't, my man. Come down to me anyway, and I'll meet up with you for sure. Any sneaky bets on this week? Please, send me on your predictions, my man. I'd absolutely love to see them. I'd have a bit of time on my hands tomorrow morning, so I might go down to the bookie. So let me know if there's anything, I should be sticking a couple of quid on. And by the way, anybody, I don't have a gambling problem. I am a cheap gambler. 50-cent accumulator, €2 is the most I will spend. So do not worry about that. Now, guys, Son came off the bench last week, was key in Spurs' win against Brighton as his quality set up the winner. Dermo, does our leader and captain start from the start today? Just give me a minute. I'm going to open a window. I'm getting roasting here.
Yeah, I think he does. I think he has to. When he came on last week, it was like a whole stadium lifted. It was like we've got our man back, we've got our Sonny back, and he set up the winning goal. And we've missed that on the wing as well. So I think Sonny does need to start today. He's our leader. He's our captain. He's our number 7. And he brings something to the team I think we've been missing. He brings that sort of captaincy where he inspires others to do better. When Sonny came in, the whole team lifted. And it's like he leads by example, where like Harry Kane led by scoring goals. Sonny leads by his work rate. As a captain, he never stops running. He's always working. And if you look at the good captains of the past, like Roy Keane and all them type captains, they're the ones that work hard. I can go back to Graham Souness when he was captain in Liverpool, hardest working midfielder in the 80s. So he works hard, he leads by example, and that inspires others to do better. If he says, right, I'm doing this, I demand you match my levels, then that's good for the team. So, yeah, he has to start today, Dave. He does. And for me, I think when he came on last week, that everywhere just lifted another 10%. So
I loved as soon as you walked on, he went like that to the crowd. Come on, you got everyone pumped.
Well, I was sitting in the north stand, right? It was like we could see him getting ready because we had a good view of them warming up. And it was like you could hear the Sonny's coming on, Sonny's coming on. You could feel it bubbling. As soon as he came on, it was like an explosion. And yeah, for me, he starts. He has to start. He's Captain Fantastic in my view. What a great choice for a captain. Absolutely spot on.
No, he had a great impact. Yeah. Great impact last week. Couldn't agree more with that, Tron. Jose, Sonny has 18 Premier League goal involvements this season, with those contributions being worth 16 points to Spurs. Salah is the only other player whose goal involvements have been worth more points to a top flight side in the Premier League this season. Can any one of our forward players be the man for the big occasion going into next season, or will we have to hit the transfer market to find that player? Because for me, the difference between mounting a title challenge and just looking to secure top 4 is having another world-class player in that forward line. Is there any other players that can step up? Because Kane was doing it, before Sonny. Now Sonny's took over that mantle. He's 32 coming into the end of this year, which means he's not getting any younger. Going into next season, is there anyone that can step up and score the important goals for us?
We've, as a fan base, we've been absolutely spoiled and blessed in the last 10 years. And it was by hook or by crook. It wasn't by design that Kane came into the side. And we were heavily reliant on Kane in the past. And to a point that people outside looking in would say we're a one-man team. We're always looking at Kane. We always got to feed Kane. Now that Kane's gone, we've had to adapt and play a different way of football. Which
still a one-man team,
but it still brings a lot more players into the game now, and a lot more people have stepped up and have to step up in order to make it a team game.
Is that a myth though, Jose? Let me ask you why. Because people go on like Kane was the only one that scored with Sonny. Dyer scored goals last season. Davies scored goals last season. Perisic, Bentancur, Højbjerg, everyone scored last season. So I think that's a bit of a myth, personally.
How many got double figures, Dave?
Sorry?
How many got double figures? For the last 10 seasons.
How many's in double figures outside of Son this season? Same question.
Okay,
yeah, but then that's the same scenario where it's Sonny and Kane.
Season hasn't finished yet.
Okay, but how many of them? Okay, but I reckon we'll probably have 3 or 4. I reckon by the time the season ends, that will be into double figures. We've still got another 14 games to play. So, to me, listen, what I do like is listening to Ange in his latest presser. Ange turned around, he's asked a question about Liverpool links. His answer was, "I've only been here 7 months. I'm here. I'm doing something. I want to build for the future." So we continuously challenge for all the major trophies. However, he said the first 2 transfer windows have been good, but we need more of that. So for me, I have the trust that we have people in the background and we have Ange, that we will build the squad that we need to do what Ange wants to do, and therefore there will be players, because Son's not going to last forever. Although we might want him to, he's not going to last forever. So we will either find someone from within, or we will get someone from outside and bring them in. That will then cover the question that you're asking me at the moment for the future. Just quickly, Honey Bunny, by that standards, then you have to support the likes of Ndombele and stuff. If that's the standard you're going to apply. But Jacko, my man, where are you with it? Is there any other players that's going to step up? The way Son does in big, important moments, because we've had Harry Kane, he's gone. Sonny, how long is he going to be able to be at that level going into a 32-year-old, only getting older? Is there any other players in that current forward line that you see being able to step up to that level over the next couple of seasons, or is it an area we might have to hit the market?
I mean, it just is very dependent on how much longer can Sonny be at this sort of still very efficient world-class level. I would reckon at least 2 more years, but I think you have to still think about future planning. Can somebody from the academy be good enough in the next 3 or 4 years to sort of be at close to a top level and sort of learn that trade, be a guy that we can really depend on? That's a quick turnaround and a lot to ask from some of our very, very talented academy players like the Donleys, Mikey Moores and stuff of the world, but I just feel like that's too much to ask. I think we have to look towards the market for me, Dave. I think we'll have to find some sort of player that's either kind of already ready-made, kind of in that kind of close to elite, close, maybe teetering on world-class kind of bracket and sort of category, kind of like the Pedro Neto sort of links, that we've been linked to recently, or maybe go for another sort of Nusa sort of signing, a guy that we know is going to be top quality very, very soon. Just hasn't played at maybe a Premier League, sort of level yet, but we know will be an amazing player, like what Real Madrid have done with like Vinicius Jr., Rodrigo, players like that eventually just reach a ridiculous level. They just need a bit of time. I think we just probably have to, and hopefully maybe a year or two's time, I think we might just have to future plan, bring in a guy like the Pedro Neto or somebody who can maybe still have a lot of time on his side, but we know is pretty much Premier League ready and can be a very reliable player and hopefully get even more goals and assists than he already does. So I think you have to look towards the market for me personally. It's just also, though, like how much longer can Sonny produce at this sort of level is also up for debate. I would say at least 2 more years, but if he were to do it for 3-4 more years, I mean, credit to him, but not many players can do that. Not many players can do that.
Yeah, it means you'd be doing that going into 34, 35. That would be absolutely insane. Look, for me, I understand. I understand what Jose was saying, but for me, I think there's too much made out of because it's Ange and it's exciting. Many people go, but look, others are scoring goals, but they completely dismiss under Conte. And if you want to be balanced about it, go and look at it. They all scored goals under Conte as well. There's a huge sort of myth around, no one else chipped in. I think the point I'm trying to make is we had Harry Kane. When I see goal scorers, I'm not looking at the guy that's added the 4th or the 5th goal. I'm looking at the guy that gets the winner, gets the equaliser, gets the big goals in big games. That's what puts points on the boards. We've had Kane, we let him go. Everyone said, we don't want to be a one-man team. I think we're more of a one-man team now than we were ever before. Bar Richarlison, who stepped in with a couple of goals. Who else stepped up without Sonny? No one. Absolutely no one. That's why we're all sitting here saying we want Sonny back. And when you look at the points that he's amassed us that are winners and equalisers and that, 16 points, we don't have anyone else in the team that can do that. Richarlison's a striker, but he's going to need suppliers. And for me, I think we need to hit the market on that if we were to look. I don't think Richarlison will score you goals, but is he a provider of goals? Not quite so sure. Kulusevski is a provider of goals. Will he score you them goals? Not quite so sure. So for me, I do think we need to hit the market on that one. Dermo, where are you at with that, lad?
Look, Kane was a freak of nature. He was a once in a generational striker that any team in the world would love. He was our Jimmy Greaves. I've always said that. Look, we did play through Kane an awful lot. Kane was the main man. I get what you're saying, Dave, where other players did chip in. Yeah, and Sonny was top scorer in one of them seasons. Kane was there.
Once.
Once, yeah. But the point I'm making, he did finish up top goal scorer ahead of Kane. So you take 30 goals out of last season out of that team. It's very hard to replace that this season. So yes, we do need to go into the market. Players are now stepping up more than they were. We're not ones.
Everyone's complaining about the
early in the season. There were, Dave. Early in the season, everyone was popping up with goals left, right, and centre. Sonny was there leading them, but other players were popping in left, right, and centre. That's went a little bit because of the injuries and because of suspensions and AFCON and that. I don't agree with you. I don't think we're more of a one-man team now. I think with Harry Kane, because he dropped deep, everything went through Harry. So we've got no players that are dropping deep now like Harry did. So I think this is where it's opened up a little bit. You look at Bayern Munich, how they're playing. They're sort of playing through Harry Kane where we did. But Tottenham have had players like that during the years as well, during the years of watching them. We've had one player we played through. We all played through Glenn Hoddle. We all played through Martin Shivers back in the day or Jimmy Greaves or back when he was playing. So we've always had this sort of Tottenham way of playing through one centre player and it all blossoms off that. So I think we do need to go into the market. Sonny will last another 2 years. I agree with Jack. Another 2 years. I can't see him lasting any more than that. But we do need to go into the market. But let's not criticise. Let's be blessed we had Harry Kane.
Hang on here. Let's get this straight.
Yeah.
In the summer, I told everybody replacing Kane was going to be a problem.
Yeah, but it was never going to be
alluded. then for a large part of the season, everyone's going, if we only had a striker.
Well, I'm not saying that, Dave.
With Son's absence, we didn't have anyone stepping up, providing the goals.
Apart from Richarlison.
Well, no, he scored a couple of goals, but we didn't have anyone creating and providing and stuff like that. They were very hard to come by. Let's not sit here just in our Spurs lens and pretend that everything was fluffy without Son. I've heard you say we need Son back, Dermot. I've heard loads of other people say
I agree
back from AFCON. So that
But
shows how important he is to this team.
Yeah.
And what I'm trying to say is that also shows we don't have any other players at his level.
Yeah.
So we need to go and get them.
Yeah, but when you take a class player like Harry Kane out of the team, of course you're going to need to replace him. It's a no-brainer. Of course you're going to have to replace.
When we were missing Kane through injuries and stuff, we always had Son that steps up. Now that Son's out, no one's stepping up.
How many times did when Kane was injured, we never won? Because it used to be we never win with Harry Kane. We went through a segment of that of never winning a game.
I completely disagree with that. I remember a lot of the arguments.
But I'm just saying.
I'm just retorting. I'm just remembering a lot of the arguments at the time were that Son, Tottenham are a better team with Kane out and Son leading the line. So I disagree with that. Anyway,
can I just ask a question? How many goals did Kane score last year in the league?
30, I think.
30, right. So last season we scored 70 goals in the league. So take 30 away, that leaves you with 40 goals. Without Kane this season, 14 games less, we've got 51 goals already. So that shows me that the contributions around the pitch are far greater than what they were last season.
But look,
in fact, last season as well, last season as well, how many points did we end up with in the league? We finished 8th. We ended up with 60 points. We're currently, with 14 games to go, we're on 47 points. We're 13 points behind where we were last season.
But that's because of the defence, Jose.
Yeah, but a lot was said, Dave, about losing Kane. Listen, I'm not going to disagree with any of you guys. You lose Kane, you need to replace Kane. We haven't replaced Kane. We do need an out-and-out striker, and I believe that could come in the next window. We haven't done it as yet, but we've not regressed by losing Kane. Yeah, we've actually had a free hit so far this season where we've done better than what we thought we would do in goals, in points, all around play. But we do have to go out.
My argument is, how do we take it to the next level to compete?
Yeah, we do have to go and get. If we haven't got someone coming,
I'm not on about just surviving. If you guys are on about surviving, that's fine.
I'm not. I'm not talking about. I'm saying to take us to the next level. I'm saying that we do need a striker. Alejo Veliz is young. He needs to learn. So if you want, you have to go. If you want, you're going to have to go out and buy. Simple as. Yeah, but we haven't done so. I'm hoping we do that in the summer.
Look, I agree with Dave. Defensively, that's because we've defensively tightened up more, and I agree with Dave on that. I think this summer has to be a priority. Has to be a striker. I mean, it should have been planned better.
I don't even think it has to be a striker. It can be another winger that can score goals, and it's just like Son. It just has to be another
question to you,
person
Dave,
that contributes regularly.
I want to ask you a question, you and Jack a question. Sorry. Do you think we should have, if we knew Kane was going early in Ange's appointment when Ange was about to come in, do you feel we should have prepared better for Kane's departure? Or do you feel Ange thought we got enough here to get us over this season and we'll leave it to next summer? Where do you think they were working on that sort of idea?
I think that was Dave's question. I just don't know if you guys heard the question.
Yeah, I
think that was Dave's question. Dave's question was.
There's a point I'm asking.
Dermot, I haven't said anything. I think Dave's question was, since Kane left, we always had Sonny to rely on. When Kane was gone, we had 2 world-class players to pick from whenever one of them was gone. We had the other one to rely on. Now that Sonny went off to the Asian Cup, to the Asian tournament, we were without our one world-class player, and we didn't really have another one to rely on. And so do we need to, this summer, look to potentially find another person that is sort of in that elite kind of bracket that in case Sonny's missing or is off or whatever, we have another person to rely upon. That's what the question was. And
the question
could we have done that over this summer to answer your question?
Yeah.
Perhaps, but I think that's also the root of Dave's question.
Yeah. So my question was, why didn't we do it this summer? Whose decision was that? Was that Ange's decision why we didn't get somebody in to replace Kane this summer, last summer when he left? That was my question, Dave, to you.
Right. Why? The conversation, but so the conversation happened quite early on behind closed doors that Kane wanted to go. right? And Ange knew that. However, when did Kane leave? He left the day before the Premiership the season started. So therefore, it doesn't give you enough time, because you've got to get the money, you've got to get the readies in as well. It doesn't give you enough time to go out and buy someone. So Ange has probably said, I like what I see in the squad and what we've got. We'll go and then plan for bringing someone in the future, whether it be in the winter window or whether it be in the summer window. But yeah, he left so late, and you had to get the money in. I think that Ange would have probably said, look, we'll go with that for now. But it's a position that we're going to have to enhance and improve on. Whether it's a centre forward, a number 9, or whether it's a player that can play along the front 3, you have to bring someone in with proven quality. Someone like your Neto, who would add goals, possibly Neto who had goals. Someone like Santiago Jimenez, who can play in the middle or play across the front 3. You know, there's a lot of players that we've been linked with, but then so has every other club in the world being linked with. The only thing that I'm happy about is that in the winter transfer window, we went for 3 players and we went up against other sides. We managed to get the 3 players in. So I'm hoping that pull and that draw for Tottenham, the way we play, for Ange, the stadium, and everything about Tottenham now will lure and draw more players into us. And one of them being the quality forward we're looking for.
Do you know what? I hope that is the case, Jose. You know, I just wonder if we were to go for 26, 27-year-old, would we still have that same pull? Because the ones we pulled were younger, and I do hope that it extends if we do end up going for a 26, 27-year-old, which we weren't not, but if we do, hopefully that pull extends. That would be brilliant.
You've got to have a blend, Dave, but you've got to have the blend. So who else did we bring? We bought Vicario and Maddison, both 26, 27, 28. So you've got to find that blend. Yes, we bought some young'uns, but we bought some older heads in Maddison and Vicario as well.
Absolutely spot on. Jacko, just quick question on Pedro Neto. I know you're a big fan of his, and then I'm going to move on and talk about the right wing, and then we'll get out of here. Jack, this week Tottenham have been linked with Pedro Neto, and Spurs know they need to begin laying out a succession plan for someone like you were talking about, who turns 32 later this year. Reports claim around 50 to 60 million could seal his signature. Is Neto the right choice to replace such a stalwart of the club and such an important player going forward? And is he the right choice to even add into that for the time being until Son does get to 34, 35? Oh, wire, Jacko.
No, sorry, I just had myself on mute. I think he actually makes more sense than other players because of that latter thing that you said there, Dave, where it's like a guy that can come in for the here and now, fit into the team without really moving or really causing, a ton of ruckus to sort of the first 11 and to the shape of it, or moving somebody to a position they're uncomfortable in, sort of thing, right? Pedro Neto can definitely play on that right wing. And then we'd also have what I think Sonny brings is basically a 2-footed player on the right wing and the left wing. Sonny's a 2-footed player. Pedro Neto's a 2-footed player. I think that would be really effective for us in the way that we're trying to play, because when you need someone to cut inside, have a hit, or just play maybe more between the lines, play a bit more kind of inverted, he can do that. If you need him to just take it past this man down the byline, whip in across, he can do that. And Sonny is in that same bracket for me. So that would make him then a good replacement for Sonny, because they sort of more or less do similar things that most wingers nowadays, for some reason, just can't. Most wingers just love to play this inverted kind of position and don't really like to take it past their man down the byline and whip it in with a cross, mostly because they don't have much of a weak foot in the first place. Whereas I would say guys like Sonny and Pedro Neto very much do. I think he's a great kind of buy because he would fit into that right wing, give Kulusevski, Johnson a lot of competition there. And then eventually, if Sonny, few years, maybe 4 years down the road, he could definitely play on that left wing and, be equally as effective. Or we then look to move somebody else there, but we still have a kind of pretty much an elite player, and Pedro Neto is still around in that forward line.
No, I completely agree. I
think he's worth
he's
60
only
million,
23.
almost cheap.
Yeah.
I think 60 million. That sounds crazy to say, but I rate him that highly. I think 60 million is fine.
Well, look, that's what was reported out there. But I know if Wolves are sort of on the brink of financial fair play, and if they want to address their striker issue this summer, they will have to sell someone to sort of reinvest. So, depending on how much they are away from the financial fair play, we might have to make up that sum, even if it might be a little bit more. But I do like what you're saying about him, Jack. You know, can play off both wings, can play up front even. You know, 2-footed, throw back to an old school winger, and definitely would be a good player to bring in here. But guys, let's move on to the right wing. Let's have a quick discussion about that. We'll plug some channels, get some score predictions, and then your boy is on We Are Tottenham TV for half an hour, and then we're back here for the watch along. But moving on to right wing, and Jose, we'll start with you on this one, my man. Brennan Johnson's was last week's hero coming off. Actually, just quickly, my bad. Give me 1 second. I actually have 2 super chats here I need to get to. Faz Radfire says, we love Kane. Is he missing us? I bet he is. Big up. I think, I'll be brutally honest, I think Kane's probably looking at it maybe going, I jumped the year too early. I should have given Postecoglou that chance. I would have bagged, the goals at a similar rate. If I could bag goals at a similar rate to Haaland in a Conte system or a Jose system, I'd bag more in a Postecoglou system. So I do think there's a bit of maybe did Kane get it wrong in that regard, but at that point he had so many broken promises and false dawns. I don't think anything, would have swayed him to anything Ange could have said, maybe would have swayed him in that regard. But I do definitely think he's maybe regretting that choice, especially if they don't win anything this season. Because that was the whole idea of him leaving Faz, right? Was for him to go and win a league title, win a couple of cups, and then come back to Spurs and, get that goal scoring record. It looks like it could be all for nothing in that regard, Faz. Let me know if you're at the game today as well, sir. Big yourself up. And then Gambling says, son isn't getting younger. What's our future plan? And look, this is why I bring up these questions. I don't bring it up to be, controversial or anything like that. But in football, a week is a long time. You have to constantly keep moving, keep evolving with the times. And we should have a succession plan. We got caught out with not having a succession plan to Harry Kane. We'll be caught out again if we don't have one to Son. And when you don't have Son or Kane, you're in big trouble. We already seen without Son how boring we can be going forward, how little we can create going forward. Son comes back, one massive impact straight off the bench, rips the team open like that. And that's the level we need to get to in that forward area if we want to be taken seriously to go on and win any trophies next season, whether it's a League Cup or an FA Cup or a Premier League. At some point, you're going to come up against the big teams, and you have to have potent players. We do not have them players outside Sonny who steps up in them big games consistently. And that's why I do think we need to have a succession plan. I warned about it a couple of years ago that Sonny isn't getting any younger and stuff like that. And you need to have the next guy in. And hopefully Pedro Neto will be that guy, because I know Timo Werner definitely ain't the answer off that left-hand side, Gambling. But who was I with? Jose, Brennan Johnson was last week's hero, coming off the bench to score the winner. Is that winner enough to earn him a start today, or should Kulu continue at right wing after his assist for Papa Matasar's equaliser? But to bring a fairness to it, he did only complete 20% of his crosses, and that's probably why he was taken up. Who do you want to see at right wing today?
I'm saying all along the show, let's go back to the tried and tested that we had for the first 10 games and play Kulu out on the right. Sonny gets a start today, and Richie plays down the middle. And once we're 3-0 up in the second half, bring on pace to burn Werner and Johnson, give them a chance towards the latter part of the second half, and let's get the 4th and 5th goal over the line, Dave.
That would be absolutely nice, Jose. That would be nice. Sorry, would you say that Brennan Johnson is a better impact sub than he is a starter then, Jose?
For me, it's quite weird because Johnson's played in the Premiership, but I mean, Dermot, you were at the game, but to me, he looks sluggish, lethargic. He looks slow. He doesn't fit enough, and also he's got to learn the pattern. He's got to learn the patterns of play. With us having so many players out for one reason or another, we haven't had the whole squad there where he can learn off other players and learn the patterns of plays with certain individuals. So for me, and I said this before the Brighton game last week, I said I think Johnson needs to spell on the sidelines to be brought up to speed both with the tactics, the patterns of play, and his fitness, and then be brought off the bench and slowly bed him in that way, because by hook or by crook, because of the problems we've had this season, he's been put in straight away. And he came off the bench. I said, put him on the bench. He came off the bench. He got us the winner. Listen, I love it. He got us the winner, but he's got a lot to learn.
I definitely agree with that. Jacko, where are you at on the right wing situation today? A lot of people would say, you come on, you score the winner, you deserve to take your spot.
Yeah, but I personally don't even know if Brennan Johnson really. I don't think he was playing terribly, but I don't think he was playing actually all that particularly well up until he got that late minute winner. Not taking anything away from him from getting that late minute winner. Had to be in the right place at the right time. Had to make that run. I wish Kulusevski actually made that run more often. It feels like, if he were in the box to follow things up, whereas Brennan Johnson has more instinct, I think, to do that than really Kulusevski does. So he has that over him. But for me personally, I think Kulusevski, especially in that second half, really grew into the game and was actually definitely the reason why we scored that first goal. He just opened play up, was really carving, some real gaps in that Brighton defense with just his movement and his passing and his hold up play, and played a beautiful ball in for Pop Matasar, who did very well with it. I just think against teams that also sit back against us or try to, form like a really tight, organized shape, there's no space for really Brennan Johnson to work or for him to really do very much. So it kind of just suits Kulusevski, a far more technical player and a guy who can really open teams up with just his vision and passing and movement and ball carrying more than really Brennan Johnson can. I think he just makes a far better impact when the game is a bit more stretched, when there's more green grass in behind that defense.
And do you know what, Derm? I actually sit on the exact same sort of, fence as Jack and as Jose there. I mean, where are you at with it today? Do you think he should start? Do you think Kulu should start? Because some would argue Kulu was as bad as Brennan Johnson before he got taken off.
Look, Kulu didn't play well last week. And what I saw when he was running down, he had glimpses in the game. Look, I'm going to disagree with a lot of you. It wouldn't be me without, and I think Johnson should start today. Look, I said last week he didn't play well, and I stand by that. But I think with Sonny there, he will get into them areas where Kulu's not. He will get into them sort of areas where he's there to pick up the ball like he did last week for the winner. I don't think Kulu would have been in that area to get the winner. Look, for me, I'm going to do. I think Johnson start. I'm going to disagree with a whole lot of you, and go against you as I normally would. But Johnson start and bring Kulu on as a sub. But look, I think Werner on that side would be a good shout as well. By the way,
okay, would you start him?
Do you know what? I'm putting my neck on the line here. I would put Werner on that side. And not start. I wouldn't start Kulu at all because I thought Kulu was awful. So I would start Werner and then bring Johnson on, or start Johnson, bring Werner on. I don't think Kulu starts today. I think Kulu doesn't deserve a start today after his performance last week. That's my opinion.
Do you know what? Look,
I'm always go against you three anyway, so who cares?
No, I know. Look, Kulu's form has been off for a while. Jack alluded to it earlier on in the show. He didn't step up in Son's absence. In fact, I think he got a lot worse. I think the second half, he was the one that actually got Tottenham going forward, holding up the ball, running up, winning us throw-ins and stuff like that, and getting us up the field. Gave that assist to Papa Matasar, and I thought very harshly sort of taken off. And, when Johnson came on, the game went back to where it was before Kulu got taken off, in terms of Brighton getting back in the ascendancy as well. For me, I think there's way too much lacking from Brennan Johnson's all-round game. I think Kulusevski, even when he's not on his best form, he still offers Tottenham a lot more than what Brennan Johnson does. Brennan Johnson, he gave the ball away twice last week, which Brighton nearly scored from, and he didn't track back to go and try and win it back either. Them little things, you're not going to get away with that at this level. And until he improves that, he'll always be on the bench. Until he learns to be able to hold up the ball and cross the ball, he'll always remain on the bench. For me, I think brilliant impact sub, especially when teams are tired. Get the ball down the left-hand side, get him to get on the right-hand side, use what he's good at, being in that position. But in order for him to really start in this lineup, I think he has to do so much more better. I have not once seen Brennan Johnson pick up that ball, run at a player, skin him, and deliver across. I haven't seen it. Everything has to be played in behind for Brennan Johnson. He cannot get on the ball. Until I see that, I'm always going to stick with my man Kulu. I think there's, he offers us more in terms of an outball. You can get the ball to him, he can hold it up. We tried that with Brennan Johnson against Brighton last week, and despite Johnson being 5 yards ahead of their player, he still ended up giving away a free kick. Yeah. That's nearly impossible at that point to do. Look, he might start today. You might see Werner start today. I'm going to stick with my man Kulu.
I agree with you about Kulu. Look, Kulu for me was very poor in that first half for whatever reason. And for me, he wouldn't get into that spot where Johnson was. But Johnson cannot live off just scoring that winner. He's got to improve. He's got to improve his game. But I agree with you 100% on that. I saw him last week warming up. He doesn't warm up properly. He hasn't got the same intensity warming up like some of the other players do. So I think there is a lot to improve. But I think next season you might see the better Johnson than this season. But look, we'll have to wait and see.
This quote baffled me. Where is it? Rooty too. Big up Rooty too. And this is true, by the way. Johnson said afterwards he was tired. He was on the pitch 26 minutes. I mean, that's probably the excuse they'll give you for not tracking back. I mean, what's going on there? Honestly, if he's tired after, even I wouldn't be tired after 26 minutes. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. If I wouldn't be tired after 26 minutes and I'm overweight, I mean, he's getting paid to eat right. The chefs make. I'm moving on. I'm and then obviously
out of his ears.
just moving on. I don't want to grate on the poor guy, But look, a rare off day for Richarlison as well. I think he leads the line tonight. Hopefully he scores. Hopefully he doubles up and makes up for not scoring against Brighton. That'll be absolutely unreal. It makes mine and Jack's day. I love watching back the celebrations. Jack sort of loses the run of himself temporarily, same as myself. It's absolutely brilliant. But guys, let's go around the houses. Let's get the score predictions and find out where we can find everybody. Everybody out there tuning in, get your score predictions in the chat for us. If there's any last-minute questions you want, preferably try and make it a super chat and we'll answer them before I get out of here because I do have to get over to We Are Tottenham TV. But thank you for all your support. It really does mean a lot. And let's bloody go. Tron, what's your score prediction?
Look, I'm going to stick by what I said I'm going 4-0. I'm not budging from it. I'm going to give the Dermatron score prediction, which is 4-0. And that's what I'm saying. So, yeah, 4-0 for me.
Nice. And why do people need to subscribe?
Please come over to HFC Till I Die if you want a bit of delusion or want a bit of Dermatron. Please come over to me and Philip. We've got loads of new stuff heading up. We've got new graphics starting to come into the channel now. We're going to go up to the next level as I march on to 2K. And, yeah, everyday news beat at 4. And we've got the football debate every Thursday now, me and Philip, and other bits and pieces. So please come over to HFC Till I Die and do a like and subscribe and like on this channel as well. First, the mothership to my channel always will be. So, yeah, please get over there and hit that subscription. We need it to get to 2K. Come on.
People, get over there and share the love. And thank you very much for your time this afternoon, Dermatron. Really does mean a lot, my man. I really do enjoy these pre-match build-ups. El Tal, Jose, talking ball. What's your score prediction? Where can people find you?
My prediction was and still is 3-0. And what I want to say is, as I said on the prediction video, I want us to put, and I keep emphasizing, I want us to put two halves together and a bare minimum of a 3-0. I want to see the 4s and the 5s, and then I want us to continue that in that vein for the remainder of the season and take this forward to next season. So I'm going 3-0. Where can I be found? LTL Cockerel is my personal channel. I'm started to do some more there again. I've only got 180 subs. I want it to grow. So I can be found there. But I also co-host on Talking Ball with Colin. But yeah, I want to grow my channel. So it's LTL Cockerel. And yeah, as I said, I do co-host Talking Ball.
So, first of all, get over and do Altel Cockerel. After that, then get on to Talk and Ball. Follow Jose. Jose, again, likewise to Dermatron. Really appreciate your time, sir. I really do enjoy these conversations, so thank you very much. 2-0 for Joff. Absolutely love that. Spin Master's gone with a 2-1. Rooty 2 has gone with a 3-2 to Wolves. Oh, Jesus, Rooty 2, don't do that to me. And then we've got Iceman with a 3-1 and a King Huddle with a 3-1. Jacko, what's your score prediction, sir?
I'm kind of in the 2-1, 2-0 bracket. I would love for it to be a 3-1. I'd love for it to be a clean sheet. So I'm maybe going to stick with the 2-0. It's going to be weird for Wolves because I'm not sure where Wang Hee-chan is for them because he is their goal threat. I know Pedro Neto we gave a lot of praise for, but I think if he's
they said he's fit,
entirely
but it's not confirmed if he's going to start.
yeah, and if he's entirely on his own, like Pedro Neto, I mean, like that's going to be hard for him. Like he's a tough, he's a great player, but you back our chances then if he's basically left on his own with I think Sarabia and whoever else. I think it's Bellegarde that they play with, who I don't rate very much, at least at this moment. And so if it's kind of just Pedro Neto, I'd stretch towards like a 2-0 really, because I think then they don't stand much of a chance really of scoring. Also because of Emerson and Dragusin, if they were to play, our chances of conceding from a set piece definitely go down because they're much better in the air and actually go to really win that ball. I'm going to go 2-0. Just hope that we don't concede today. That would be lovely to have a clean sheet.
I'd absolutely love a clean sheet. I'm not sure Dark Sun G would be too happy with you on that one, Jack. He really wants a Hwang goal. Look, for me, I think I said 4-0 yesterday on the members preview, and I think I'm going to stick with that. I just feel like one team is going to be on the end of a spanking. I think now we've got players back that have had a couple of games underneath their belt. Like Jose, I want to see a proper performance, for the majority of this game. And I'm hoping that's going to be delivered today. I really do, and kickstart us going into the business end of the season. So I'm going to go 4-0. I'm going to go Richie with 2. I'm going to go... One of the midfielders might score. Son might break his duct, but I have a feeling you might see a Mickey Van de Ven or a Romero. I'd absolutely love that as well. That's my score prediction. I could be. He might not even score in his time at Tottenham. I might have to do that moonwalk as he's leaving on the plane back to Leipzig. But anyway, that's it from us, guys. DJ, woo, he's gone big. He's gone big. Big up, DJ. But guys, what's she saying? Don't need it. Now we do need Richie. Everyone needs a bit of Richie in their life, my man. He makes you smile. But guys, that's it from us. I do have to head over to We Are Tottenham TV. But don't go anywhere. Get your beers in the fridge. Get your lunch made. Be back here for 2:30 as we build up to the kickoff at 3 o'clock. Come and join us in. A lot of people seem to enjoy the watch-alongs, so come and have a good time with us. Be there or be square.
Keep supporting the Irish Hotspur. Great content. They do a lot for everybody. You get amazing numbers. Just keep coming and keep supporting to these guys. And Dermot, support to Dermot. Get Dermot to his 2K because he provides great content as well. And he is, along with Jimbo, some of the most upbeat supporters in the Tottenham community.
That's a kind way of putting it. I'm only messing.
Basically, he's just called me I'm the most delusionalist Tottenham fan going, I'll take that.
Upbeat. You're both upbeat.
I love it. And the old lad's gone 2-2. Jesus, my man must have made your breakfast this morning. She must have skipped out on that. He seems like he's in a bad
His favorite player, Doherty, is playing. His favorite player, Doherty, can play for Wolves.
That's true.
He loved Doherty.
He did love him. He absolutely adored him. Oh, I love that.
Is he still got his picture up on his wall, Dave? Has he? He's like in the sitting room. He's still got a picture of Doherty there, has he?
Oh, he's got Doherty and Dyer hugging each other or something like that. It's sickening, to be brutally honest.
I have never seen your old fella gone 2-2 before. That has shocked me. I've never seen him gone for a draw before. Mr. Harris, what's wrong?
I told you, I don't think he was made breakfast this morning. I think that's his problem. No one made him breakfast. But look, I want to say a massive thank you to Joff for the support. Dark Sun G, Adrian Chia, randomizer, that's what I'm going to call that. Random username, Dragging These Nuts, Gameling, Uaz, Jimbo, Special Occasions, Catman, Baz Radfire, DJ Samuel, Just a Girl Who Loves Spurs. Everybody, thank you so much for your support today. It really does mean a lot. And last but not least, they do say the best to last. All of you wonderful Spurs fans who got out of bed early this morning to sit here and watch us build up to this game. Thank you very much. It really does mean a lot. It'd be hard to have these conversations if nobody was listening. So thank you. Make sure you smash that like button. We'll provide you entertainment on the watch along at 2:30. Make sure you get back here for then. As always, come on, you Spurs.
Come on,
in the mighty
Spurs.
hands we trust. We
come on,
never
Spurs.
stop.
We never
Let's
stop.
go. Come on.
See you later, everybody.